just to recap, we have to generate all of the tokens that are simple, so that the kind of compound multiple tokens can be done. If you're interested in this video, one of the things we're going to be covering is how to parse actual values from strings using the strconv string convert package from Go. It's pretty standard. This is something that we need to do in order to get the actual values, so that we can append those values to a string, build up a string, and then quote or escape the string sufficient for Go, so that it can be written down in a way that Go likes, and that's also so that it can be used in our lookup table here when we try to add them together. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So yeah, I don't know how much time I'm going to spend on this. We'll see. But I'm pretty sure we can get the whole tokens table done today. So yeah, so this is, again, the tokens, we're working on tokens. Tokens are, what are they? Tokens are either strings or, hey Robo, either strings or just single values here. But as you can tell, when this gets parsed, these strings need to be converted into their, to their underlying counterparts. And of course these do too. And so that's fundamental. When I talk about a compound, I only have one compound right now, or multi-value, and that's got the characters from line feed. So this is one where I can't even come up with the value of this until I've already parsed the value for the CR and the LF. And we're just using this as an example because some other grammar might have tokens that are not obvious. And so yeah, so that's the goal for today. So the first thing I've already done is I generated a token structure with an ident and a value. Something you might be wondering, well, why am I not just doing it as a map? Because I lose the order with the map. So we're going to just use a struct. We will build up an internal map string that's going to contain the identifiers as strings, and then the values over here. And that's only for the multi-value resolution, the multi-value tokens. I've already got the first ordered string tokens executing properly, and it's down here. We'll look at that. There's some tweaks I need to do on it still. It's only doing part of it right now. And of course, I have this file name. I changed this name recently, so I'll put it back so we get rid of this error over here. Oh well, that was the wrong one to change. String tokens. Oh, that's right. So let me shut this error up for a second. So this is because I haven't yet written multi-val. You know what? That is way too hard to type. Comp tokens. All right. So comp tokens. How's it going, Nil? So what? So we're going to return a bunch of tokens, some tokes in order. I should recap on Go. If you define a name in the return value here, you can just return and it initializes, instantiates it. It declares it, it defines it, and it assigns it a 0 value. And in the case of strings or slices, that's what these are, that would be a nil. Slices are an abstraction of an array that live on top of an underlying memory array. And that's the Go way to do stuff. It gets you around the problem of dealing with, actual arrays. You can use actual arrays, you just can't resize them or anything without a lot of pain and suffering, as you would do without a helper library in C. All right, so we just need these tokens here. Too many arguments and call to comp tokes. Yeah, we need a root. The root is the actual node tree. It's the AST. I call it root because it is an AST, but it includes a root level. Ordered string tokens declared but not used. Did I name it wrong? Ordered string tokens declared but not used on 43. Oh, it's because I. Oh, right. All right. So, hey Matt, So this is what we're going to do here. We're going to be looping through these two and generating this. Actually, you know what? We can just do this right now. This is not hard. This is where we're going to build up our buffer to return. So the first thing we'll do with the buffer is, is add, you know, the text for the constants. This is Go code. You know what? Here, there we go. And then at the end, we'll build it. We'll add our closer on it. And I mean, we might as well just print it just for fun. I mean, we can get rid of this later, but and this is now a sprintf and undefined v. Well, we don't have a v yet because I haven't started looping. So, well, let's do the loops here. And we're not going to do maps or any of that. We're going to actually do loops. It's actually idiomatic to just do plain old imperative loops and not do, you know, callback, map string, you know, map, whatever, filter, reduce, that kind of stuff. People have been citing map filter reduce as one of the reasons to add generics, and I'm just like shaking my head. That's not a reason. So yeah, so loop, we do for I. The first, we're throwing away the first number, the first value coming out of a range on a slice because it is just a number. I don't need it, so underscore just throws it away. If you don't throw it away, it'll bark at you saying you didn't use it. So then what? Then we need v. So v is a struct. This is, we're not, you know, so we do range over all the tokens, which are, I have the tokens as a, I'm going to use the tokens elsewhere. So I put them, I have to find, you know, declared them in the scope, in the kind of the global scope of this particular project. They're not, you know, anything that was using any operation with tokens would need to lock it down anyway with like a semaphore or something. So it's not a bad thing to have it in the namespace of this package. And that's just an easier way, because this down here, these actions are operating on closures. Things have been closed, such as the tokens coming in from the thing. I mean, you know, I guess if I were going to be better with encapsulation, you know what, let's do the right thing. So I don't like this, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I know it's the right thing to do. So the first tokens that we generate, if I keep the tokens in the space, in the namespace of gen tokens, then I'm not, you know, I'm being a better citizen. So whatever the fuck. Oh, I'm not supposed to swear. I'm trying not to swear, people. I turned my mature rating off so that I applied to LinkedIn. I was like, maybe LinkedIn will let me stream over there too. Maybe I can help more people. All right. So, so we have our tokens here, and this just means that I have to, you know, since I'm being functional here, this means I've got to, you know, having a global variable that I was modifying is like so anti-functional. So it's like you do not want to have, you know, conditions like that. So gen string tokens, we get a root, and we get some tokens, and I'm going to pass the tokens. Map string interfaces of any kind. So you can't swear. You can. I will definitely do it every once in a while, but I'm going to pull back. So we're going to pass the tokens in and then manipulate them on their way in. It also means this can be annoying, but whatever. So, oh God, am I really going to have to do that? Yes, I am. Fuck. I said it. Oh, darn it. Map string tokens. And this is, you know, I'm operating at a very large font size for the sake of the stream, which I've heard people appreciate, so I'm going to keep doing that. This is one of those times when I would be, I don't know. Tmap, how about that? Tmap sounds like a semi-rapper-y name. To tell you the truth, this is one of the reasons that I don't do this very much. Because these things can get long. These signatures can get really long. What desktop manager do I use and what distro? Hi, Denny. I go read my FAQ, rwxrob.live. rwxrob.live. It's all there. I actually just fixed it yesterday, so I'm going to plug it. So, yeah, it had a bug, rwxrob.live. You can go see all the fun stuff. Hey, it doesn't say I'm streaming, but I am. You're a liar, Restream. Restream's lying to you. Follow the channel, get notified when they go live. What if I told you that I'm live right now, Restream, and that you're full of shit? I don't know, maybe your guys, oh my God, Firefox, I fucking hate you. Yeah, I swore again. Darn it! I gotta stop swearing. I really gotta stop swearing. I'm gonna get better. Oh, well, this embed is misconfigured. Bull's crap. Browser console for more information. It is not. Sigh. All right. Well, Restream's broken. Anyway, there's the FAQ. I'll have to fix that. That happened last night. So here's the FAQ, and it's really terse, but it's enough to cover the common questions. Where I create problems when I ask questions. Well, you know. So let's do this. Let's do. I mean, whatever. I'm just gonna keep them the same for now. And then, so now we have to do our tmap instead of tokens, instead of a global. I mean, what was I thinking? Really, you know, there's nothing better than streaming to shame yourself into doing what you know you should do to do the right thing instead of being lazy and using a package scope variable. You know, I openly admit it. I mean, I openly admit it. That's like, that was a bad thing to do. So, to tmap, I am a big functional fan lately. Yes, it means the signatures get a little bit out of control, but you know what? You can control them with interfaces and structs and all kinds of really awesome things and I love functional programming. I always have, and occasionally it makes sense to bundle something, but very, very rarely, almost never. I think for implied, using methods, you know, is really good for implied values, you know, like that values that are other combinations of other values. I think that's a really good use of object-oriented programming. Class-based OOP, I guess. But yeah, the rest of it, just not a fan at all. It's like, it's so bad. It's just really bad. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. There's a lot of really informed people who've done very objective analysis of this. You can search for OOP sucks and see all kinds of reasons. It was darkness came across the land, according to Brian Cantrell. You know, it's just horrible. And so as many places as I can, you know, turn away from it, the better. It's funny, 1990s Rob, if you were to hear 2020 Rob say that, he would just laugh, because I was obsessed with object-oriented programming when it came out. I really was. I was so clueless. And yeah, I drank the Kool-Aid, man. I drank it. You know, I drank it again. I gave talks on it. It's such bullshit. Assignment mismatch. One variable by general returns two variables. Well, okay. Where is that? First of all, there's no tokens. There's only, oh, yeah, well, there's no tokens now. So we need a tmap. Tmap is it? Object-oriented programming. Yeah. So tmap. I'm the map. I'm gonna sing Dora because I know that there's a map song, but that's all I know. My wife loves Dora. She's like, but then when they made, there's like a few moments when she was really depressed. When they made Blue's Clues Talk, James Gosling, Bajarn is like, Bajarn is someone, if I ever saw him anywhere, I would run the other direction to be away from his presence. Is that a nice way to say it? Is that a nice way? And James Gosling, oh my God, let's put $500,000 in a marketing budget to promote our shitty object-oriented programming language. Wait, do you have? No, I don't have an OSCP. Why would I? You're talking. You must have me confused with some previous life, an RWX Rob from a previous life. I'm definitely sure you're mixing me up with somebody who actually was seeking to get a certificate in cybersecurity and woke up from the lunacy. Even though I believe in cybersecurity and applications for it. Yeah, oh God, no. That was a phase. Sorry, if you're here to watch me study for OSCP, you're in the wrong channel. There's lots of people who are doing that. When I found out that cybersecurity is basically just quality assurance testing disguised in a sexy hoodie, I was like done. I was done with it. I was like, dude, I don't care how much they pay me. I don't want to do testing for the rest of my life. I want to make shit. That is exactly what happened. I was like, pen testing? This isn't pen testing. This isn't hacking. This is like level 2 testing. You know, let's run this suite of things and see if we can make the thing crash and then, ooh, have some fun with it. I mean, yeah, welcome to level 2 testing in any enterprise. Yeah, I was like, no, I was like, this doesn't even challenge me. There's, look, did I ever really break anything really fast? And could I ever do it really fast? No. Yeah, I would rather write code. I'm just going to own it. I love writing code. I love organizing systems. Above everything else, I freaking love automation. Yeah. Probably pretty fast. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think the world needs cybersecurity experts, but you know what? You'll become a hacker just by knowing how to code and knowing how to use computers. So you don't need to dedicate your life to, as Titus, I'm full of bad ideas. Yeah, well, hey Jalopy, how you doing? Uh, and Titus is hilarious. I love him too. And look, you guys understand, I'm not putting down anybody who has made a career of this. And there are spectacularly talented people who call themselves pen testers and hackers, and the romanticism of the idea has just faded for me. That's all. I'm trying to write Bitcoin and learn distributed system. What do you think? If you said Bitcoin, and I didn't see anything past that, so I just kept going on to my own code. Let's see. You know about the 50% flaw, right? Yeah, nobody does. It's a philosophically flawed algorithm. Yeah, there's no way Bitcoin will ever, or any technology that is built on that, on consensus gathering, is ever going to succeed. Ever. So as soon as I found that out, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe people are putting what there are into this. You're handing over the keys of the kingdom to whoever has the most computing power on the planet. And everybody knows that that's going to happen because the oligarchy is just going to keep growing, and pretty soon 1% is going to be. Yeah, if you want to learn distributed systems, that's fine. You don't need Bitcoin for that. Too many arguments in Canada. PEGN node. No siree. No sir. Are you kidding me? This is going to get really, really ugly, but sorry, people. I have to, if I'm going to do this right, then I have to send it in and retrieve it. I don't need a pointer though, because why? Say it with me, boys and girls. Maps are already pointers. Therefore, I do not need a pointer to it. Oh, I don't need that there. What am I doing? I'm getting kind of argument heavy there. That is one freaking long argument string. I get really uncomfortable when the argument strings get that long. But it's fine. You know what I could do? You know what I could do? Watch this. Watch this, because I'm so annoyed by that. Yeah. Watch. Type tokens. Map string tokens. So there. And now I can do this as God intended. That'd be entertaining. Yes, that'd be true. And down here it was like map. Nope, not you. Tokens. Yay, it fits within 80 characters. That ain't so bad. It is pretty damn bad though. So I refuse. I refuse to have an exceptionally long. It's funny because I have an array of tokens and then I have a map of tokens. You're like, why would you have both? Because it's fun. That's why. Wait, my get gen comp tokens, tmap tokens, token, tokens, tokes. Do 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 ah. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. That way. Yeah, no generics in life. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Love you, Klondiker. First of all, Go is going to get generics like within a couple months. And secondly, generics suck. They do. They really suck. Show me one use case for a generic that makes your life better. Can't do it. Even Kennedy couldn't do it. He tried really hard to convince me, and I'm like, no, no, there's no need for that. Sorry. Yeah, I know. It's a very unpopular opinion that I have, but yeah, you do not need them at all. There are a few cases where it saves you from type switching. Does Rust have type switching, by the way? Anybody know? That's one thing I haven't figured out yet. I want to go look it up. If it doesn't have it, it'd just be yet another thing. I have a feeling it does, though. It would be because it's so heavy on whatever traits. So, let's see. Root tokes equals token and tmap is already defined. And we need to make one of them. That's what this is all about, by the way, guys. So that this says it declares it, and then this is the walrus operator, which only works in block scope. And then you pass it off and instantiate it, so it makes its own. If you want to give it an initial number, you could, but that would be more of an array. So I still have all kinds of problems because I'm trying to change all my stuff. Never you fear. We shall fix it. Type value there, tmap there. To do. You're not doing anything right now, so you need to do something later. Tokens. Conversions. Let's look at this real quick. Yeah, that's just a cast. That's not what I'm talking about. Yeah, but no, that's a cast. That's not type switching. You know what? Since we're on it, and I'm kind of curious, does a slang have type switching? I'm just curious. If a function does not care about the string, it wants to handle. Oh, yeah. Well, I have a feeling it doesn't because they use generics for everything. That's what I think. I'm not sure though. I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Oh, so how about let's just look at the Rust. I know it has switch, which Python does not. Add it to the list of annoyances about Python. It's really funny to read the people trying to tell you what to do instead of switch. Oh, you don't need switch. Lesser programmers use switch. They make function callback tables with maps. That's their alternative. That's their alternative to switch. I'm like, Do you really not give a shit about performance that much? Oh, it always makes me laugh. It always makes me laugh. I think that is so funny. Not to mention, try teaching it to beginners. Like your language is supposed to be, if your language is telling itself it's like the best language for beginners, right? And then it comes to like if else, if else, if else, and the answers are these. Just use if else and deal with it. It would be great if there was like a switch operator because every other language has it. Nope, don't need it. If else, if else, if else. Well, what if I don't want to do that? Well, then you can make a functional callback table. Oh, that language. That language you love. I love to hate it. I love it though. You know, you have to use it. Okay, went up to the bad guys. Switch operator. This is not even Rust. What am I doing? What am I doing? Twitter. Последние твиты от Rostlang. That means the last few tweets about the Rust language, which I've been banned from following. I cannot follow the official Rust Twitter feed because I questioned something about what they had tweeted and their accuracy, and they banned me for life. I'm not kidding. That's the kind of people behind the Rust language. Spasiba. Fickles are out. Nice community. I totally disagree with the Rust community statement. In fact, I would argue the opposite of that. It's a community that I want to run the fuck away from as fast as I can. Yeah. Anyway, I've talked a lot about that. I'm not going to bash on languages right now. Apparently, we cannot find anything about the switch statement on Rust easily. So I am back to, well, I'll make one more attempt. Switch statement. Again, I still think everybody should learn Rust because it'll make you a better programmer. I think everybody should learn Haskell and Erlang too. It'll make you, there's no excuse not to learn a language other than time. Yeah, dude, that is pretty much the Rust community. If they disagree with you, you're fucked because politics, every language should have politics in it. That's their tweet. I did a whole thing about that. That's why you should run screaming from them as a community. Nice people probably outside of that, but my God, the cult of Rust is just terrifying. It's terrifying. They're the kind of people that would cut off your head if you lived in France and they didn't agree with your aristocracy. They're just dangerous people. Their whole secularism is just insane. You know, when you lead a conference talk with your pronoun, for God's sake, I am not saying it's not as significant, but I mean, it's just like, and then your last conference talk is all about how Rust allowed you to code your Pokemon game when you were 12. You know, that's the kind of community that I run the fuck away from. It has no business being anywhere in any professional environment. So there. Anyway, I'm not seeing any switch statements so far. Switch statement examples. Okay, maybe here we go. We got some finally. Yeah, I'm sorry. I should not have sworn too. I got to stop swearing. I told myself I was going to stop swearing. It has match. Rust does not have a switch keyword, but it has the match construct that works like switch. Oh, of course, because we just want to be different for no reason at all. Switch statement in our language, generally the match can run codes or return a single value. It cannot do both at the same time. You know, I want a language that is so boring and uses established, patterns and idioms that it's just so easy to digest. I don't want a language that tries to be different just cause. Let us go through some examples that use Rust match construct. All right, let's do that. Swearing doesn't help at all. I know it doesn't. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Fecal. I'm not going to swear anymore. I'm trying really hard to not swear because I applied to LinkedIn and I'm trying to prove that I can be an upstanding citizen. Besides, I want to appeal to people who don't like swearing too. You know, you don't have to like swearing as much as John Oliver. I appreciate a good F word here and there. No kidding. It doesn't allow us unhandled cases which make it complicated at times. Yeah, professional is pushing it on my stream. That's for damn sure. Okay, I'm allowing myself damn, though. Can I do that? Hell and damn. Because even when I was Mormon, we didn't think those were swear words. So, Dusty. Match user choice. This goes, oh my God, look at that syntax, people. There it is, and green and brown. I was going to say black and white, but oh my God. Can I just never, I just want to pretend like I never saw that. Oh, God bless you, Rob Pike, Gressimer, and Ken Thompson. God bless you. God bless you, people. Yeah, once you've done it once or twice, yeah, with the comma, a dangling comma. Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, you can yell at dangling commas in maps all the time and go, but they have a practical purpose. All right, that's a little better, but that's because they're just switching on a single. What's with the fat arrow? I mean, no, just no. It's like they don't give any concern to parsing efficiency and compilers. It is so poorly designed. The language syntax is a disastrous fail. It's so bad. It's so ugly. It's like, how much, this is exactly what you get when someone thinks they have unlimited resources. Meanwhile, you have the boomers who made, who created C to create the Unix operating system. So they're used to dealing with constraints. Anyway, so that answered my question. Thank you very much. Hell no. Anyway, tokens. We got tokens here. All right, I'm gonna get back to business here. Gen 43. Oh yeah, we're not using those. We got to use them. We got to use them. No, we're not. All right, we're not iterating through the tmap. We're iterating through this thing. And then we're going to iterate through the other ones. I mean, this is a little redundant, but it's fine. I've tried it, but not. No. I will try it, Dusty. I'm going to port all of this to Rust. And I'll suffer through it, and you can laugh at me. But I want to port it to C. If you use a switch, copyright infringement. That's a funny joke, except for it has no sense in reality. Copyright, of course, has nothing to do with that. At best, it would be a patent. Know the difference, lest you suffer the consequences as a developer. Okay, that should have worked. So I don't know what's going on. So mismatch one variable just returns two variables. Tmap. Now I could have done it with this changing the reference, but this is goes in, what comes out. It did kind of. Undefined tokens. Oh, that must be down here. There's no such thing as tokens. What are you talking about? There's two tokens. Undefined tokens. I just made it a tokens. I made one. Oh. Tmap tokens. MacGyver is here. Enters the building. It's a good thing he wasn't here for the last 10 minutes, or this chat would be filled with his commentary. Let's see here. He can't get over anything with reverse typing. But I understand. It's funny, I actually did a C-like type just the other day. I thought he might have thought that was cute. Yeah, I put like string first. As per usual. Sigh. I have fun with it. It's not like, All right. Tokens. Why is did I get rid of my token? I did. Did I delete it? Who let me delete that? Who Who let me delete that? Sigh, I gotta pay attention, people. Yeah, that was a type definition. It wasn't a... Oh, that's why. Yep, that's why. That's why I did it. Yep. Line 45. 45 is a thing. Later came sooner and later, apparently. Tmap. I don't even think I... Wait. No, you know what I can do? That's even better. That's even better. Why didn't I think of that? A map. Tokens is a... Tokes is a tokens. Tokes is a tokens. Actually, Tmap is a tokens. And 65. I love structs. Can I just say? I love structs. They're so much better than classes. Tokens and Tmap. The fail on the right side is my failures in life. That's why I'm trying to fix it. Type tokens as type token in return argument. Okay. That means Tmap was the tokens when it went in. Cannot use tokens type tokens as type. Oh. That was really dumb, Rob. That was super stupid. Cannot use buff string as type token. 14. Oh, these are other problems. Tmap ident. You're gonna get us off on the political thing at 9:30 in the morning again, Mac. I almost don't want to read it. Yeah. Oh my God. American Medical Company. Online time tracking system. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Because it's all about the time that you put in. Yeah. Adam Ruins work. It's fantastic. You guys should really watch the entire Adam Ruins series. It's so well informed. They actually put their references on the screen as they destroy your perception of reality with actual facts. It's just so good. It's so good. Every misconception you've ever had. You know, things like jaywalking. Did you know jaywalking was a word invented by the automotive industry to demonize walking in the streets so that the cars could take over? It's just so full of that stuff. Cybersecurity 4 and Cybersecurity on Monday. Nice, Zaf. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, registering 15-minute intervals of time is so stupid. There's no science based. Basically, the whole world is making decisions based on gut feel now instead of science of any kind. And even science is... Adam Ruins Science talks about how science is getting in trouble. You know why? Nobody wants to do follow-up studies. So the basis of science is supposed to be that you have confirmational studies that confirm the results of the initial one. But guess what? The people who are the researchers who are confirming the results of previous scientific research, there's no fanfare in that. There's no papers. There's no money. There's no grants in that. So they don't do it. So most of the scientific studies that are coming out right now have no backing at all. So it's just one study with no backup follow-up studies. So even science is being subjected to this oligarchic greed because it's just destroying our world. It's not sexy to do confirmational. It's such a good episode. It's Adam Ruins Science that talks about it. It's like, you know, if you want to save the world, do boring science that confirms the results of another research study. Because right now, the number of research studies that confirm previous research studies is so low that the accuracy of the science that we have is even bad. And that just plays into the whole dumbass concept that science is bad for humanity. Hey, Greg. I'm gonna get back to work now that Greg's here. Not. I'll try. How about that? Cannot use buff. So line 114. Type string is token in assignment. Yeah, this is all stuff that I need to get. Yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah, this is why I'm so terrified to go back to work for a manager. And if somebody's watching this, I'm just telling you right now, it is the biggest challenge I'm going to have is having somebody micromanage me. And they probably should, because otherwise I'll stream and talk my ass off. And I get shit done. I do. It's just, I want to be paid to stream, honestly. But I have to do something more valuable. Cannot use buff. Type string as type token. Not enough arguments to return value. Yes. Okay. These are common errors that I can fix because I changed it. I did the right thing. In case somebody's wondering where these errors came from, they came from the fact that I did the right thing. Instead of having a package global scope variable, I forced myself to pass it along to each one of the parameters in the signature, which is, why we have object-oriented programming sort of, not normally for most of my clients. Yeah. If you want to get paid to stream. Yeah. Far less. Yeah. Oh God, you should see what people stream. Yesterday, I couldn't look at it anymore. I was like, people are making billions of dollars, getting thousands and thousands of hits. It's like, how stupid can you be? Idiocracy has literally come true. Idiocracy is coming true. He hit his balls. 10 million subscribers. Fail real. Did you see that? It's like, people are so fucking stupid today. They're so stupid. I mean, I can maybe go for the cats once in a while or something like that, but it's like, and I love a good fail reel, don't get me wrong. It's like the whole world chooses to watch some version of, I just, I don't know why. Someone tell me why. I'm done. I can't care. I have to get shit done. I can't think about it because it's so terrifying. It's like, it's like, we just don't, there we go. So token ident, comma buff, and we'll put a map to the same exact token rather than waste memory. Oh wow, look at that. That's cool looking. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Don't even. We're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. You know what? Let's just admit. Yeah, I know. Look, guys. You know what? Now watch. Some assholes get. I'm sorry. Strike that. I'm trying to be nice. Some person is going to walk in and they're going to call us elitist for saying that. Watch. Oh, you're such an elitist. What do you got against fail videos and people who watch them? They're not dumb. Maybe they just like fail videos. Maybe they're taking a break from their PhD thesis. How do you know that? And I do need to give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's just be real. I need to give them the benefit of the doubt. This is my new mantra. I'm going to print this out in neon. I'm going to put it on my wall. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, it's one that goes on my trigger list. Elitist goes on my trigger list because I pride myself on being attainable for other people. And yeah, watching people hurt themselves is a serious mental condition. It probably is. I'm a big believer in the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, I need to be better at the benefit of the doubt. Can I just say? So let's take a moment here to reflect before I go get another round of coffee. Maybe Rust does have something of value besides a match statement and that has commas in it. Maybe there's something to that that's easier to write, that's easier to get your head around. I need to give Rust the benefit of the doubt, and I need to try it. So I will do that. I'm going to try that. And then make a better judgment. There, is that better? Did I do better? Did I do better? See, I'm trying to correct myself because if we don't, we're all in trouble, people. We like accept our realities. So I want to be broke. If being broke means giving people the benefit of the doubt and opening my horizons and saying that, this and so is worth consideration. I mean, even that the world might actually be flat. The world might be flat. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Come on, join me here. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. We have got to give people the benefit of the doubt. It's possible that Trump is not an encephalitic, narcissistic, autocratic, grab him by the pussy asshole. It's possible. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's give them. It's possible. We just need to, we need to accept people, and we need to maybe they were dropped as a child. You just don't know. You don't know. Benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Oh, okay. Well, so it's possible we live in a simulation and none of this is real. In fact, statistically speaking, according to Elon Musk, who I had a really crazy dream about last night, by the way, and, it's possible. So benefit of the doubt. Science lets people have the benefit of the doubt. Nothing is impossible. Also, nothing is true. Everything has to be. What was Elon wearing? It wasn't one of those kind of dreams. For God's sake, no. It was kind of funny. I'll have to. Yeah, he had this really weird contraption, and I was just walking past. I was working for some hermetically sealed happy town of some kind in Silicon Valley. That's a quote from the movie, by the way, the show. And I was like walking past this kind of elaborate map-y thing of the world or something. And all of a sudden this robotic arm came to life and it started like sketching out and drawing pictures on there. And it's this like region, it turned out to be a map in it. And then it laser cut the piece out. And then I look over and about 20 meters away, Elon Musk is sitting at like a secretarial desk and the secretary is standing. So he took over her workstation for some reason. And he obviously had just made this thing happen and it printed out this kind of like shaped like Italy sort of like country map. And he looks at me and he like waves at me and he's like, he wants me to bring him it over. So I pick up the piece of paper and it's all cut out. It's like the kind of cool thing I would love to have had as a kid. And I took it over to Elon and I gave it to him. And, I was me. I had my beard and everything. And apparently at that moment I realized I was a new employee of some kind. And I put him down in front of him and I go, that's cool. It's like, I've always wanted one of those. I've always wanted something that could do that kind of, plotting and stuff. I've thought those things are fun, man. I always wanted those as a kid. He goes, yeah. And he gave me that Elon Musk, like, yeah, dude, like, that's cool. And then he went back his computer and he double taked and looked at me again. And I was like walking around, I was just getting ready to leave and I kind of grinned at him and he kind of grinned at me, not in that way. And I was like, what? It's like, is there something about me? I mean, because if you need me to change, I will. And I was like self-conscious about my big beard. I was like, and I was like, I was ready to shave my beard for Elon Musk so that I could still work there because I was so happy. It was a good dream. It was a weird dream. It was obviously complete and total fantasy. Apparently Tesla's just another sweatshop, tech sweatshop, but who cares? I'm saying after interviewing a doctor in the name of balance, now let's turn to the horse shit peddling snake oil business for advice. All right. Well, it's been a fun morning of morning show banter. Back to work though. In order for me to make a clean break here, I'm gonna have to. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to insist on getting a little bit more coffee, and then I said it before. I am not working past noon today. I am not working past noon. I have so much cleaning to do. I know Greg reminded me yesterday. Thank you, Greg. So yeah. Anyway, why are there two of these? There should only be one. Gin tokens. You installed Mint on 2 computers. Awesome. Did you do the new Mint with Debian? I'm just curious. Where is that coming from? Where are my constants coming from? Oh, let's see where I really have to get back in the right headspace for this. Let's see here. Tokens V for enough. Okay, I'm just curious because I know that they switched to Debian based instead of Ubuntu. I'm just curious to see when that's going to start to show up. Does anybody know? That'll be the next time I upgrade. Next time I upgrade will be either that or Pop OS. I'm a fan. I've been really convinced that Pop OS is a good thing. And I kind of want to support them because they are, they're semi-good. My customer support experience in 2014 with them. I bought a what is it called? Oh, what's that company called? System 76. I bought a laptop from them in the first year there. It opened up and it was a disastrous experience. But I think they've improved since then. Mouse scrolling. Yeah. 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 Greg, you must have been around at the time that I experienced them. And they charged me $70 restocking fee to return a computer. And their customer service was like, oh my God, it was the worst ever. And so I don't know. I had a really rough experience with them when I first had that. And Pop OS is a good thing. I've had a lot of beginners use it with great success. But it is based on Ubuntu and GNOME. And yeah, so yeah, it is based on Ubuntu. And that's one of the reasons I want to stay with Mint now that it's back to Debian pure. 24 is heavy as hell, is it? Huh. Yeah, I've always been a big Debian fan, but it wasn't really usable as a user, I want to stay app based. Arch is fine for certain things, but not an Arch fan. I'm definitely not a fanboy. So anyway, people can argue about that all day while I get stuff done. Constants. Why do I have 2 constants calls? I only called this one time. Burn the heathen. Vita ident, order string tokens. Why are you not working? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to break this. Oh, I know why. Because I'm not adding it to the fucking buffer. To the buffer, not buffer. I'm sorry I swore. LinkedIn, if you're out there listening, I really would love to stream on your service. I promise to stop swearing. I promise. Because I just think people on LinkedIn would be more, likely to be interested in what I'm doing. So yeah. The known performance to have been fixed at this point. Ubuntu is not heavy at all by the... Huh. It's still minimal. Yeah. You don't think so? Well, they just started, so... I don't know. Maybe you're right, Greg. They're watching YouTube and Twitch. I want to say that more professional people would watch those streams, though. Yeah, LinkedIn is starting to do streaming. That's right. That's right. It is going to be a thing. You have to ask. You have to be accepted. Just like Facebook streaming apparently fell on its face too. Nobody's using that either. The problem is if you're not streaming the right things, you're not, Yeah, well, you got to play by the LinkedIn game. Unfortunately, LinkedIn already is Facebook. It's a professional Facebook. Yeah. Flatpaks? No, not doing. And that's why anything with Snap, I don't want it on my system. This is why I want to go to Debian. Please tell me actually, Greg, since you just installed it, see if it comes with Snap. Flatpak, I know Flatpak does not equal Snap, but you made me think of Snap when you said Flatpak. So I'm sorry. That was a mistake. LinkedIn is supposed to be for professionals. Okay. What is Snap? Snap is a thing that mounts like 50 different packages as reverse mount. Run mount. So watch. This is what. See all that? You see all that excrement? You see all that digital file system excrement? That. Well, you know why, Mac? Because the whole world is. The entire world is flat, likes to watch fail videos and cats. And the small percentage of the world likes to watch those people do that thing. I know, not the entire world. Not Denmark. All of Denmark is focused on getting shit done. Here it comes. As if you weren't predictable enough. Paste bin. So anyway, yeah, there's your... You know what I need to do? Wait. You haven't showed up. This is another thing I wanna get done here. I want to make it so that my things pull up in links automatically. It's the thing I've been wanting to do. SystemFS mount. Oh my god. We need to get Greg on Eeks. Yeah. Eeks.io, I think it is, right? Interrupt your girlfriend's cooking for a quickie. What? That's inappropriate. Of course we're browsing with the terminal. What are you talking about? What do you do? Yeah, it makes data that much faster. I cannot tell you how many hours I've saved. So no Snap. It didn't. I mean, it looked like it had some Snap to me, but that's fine. Yeah. Well, Firefox is inferior technology. Yeah, I mean, you can continue to browse like every other lowbrow web user. There's my elitist statement for the day. Clip that one. If you use a graphic web browser, you're lowbrow. Firefox is not superior technology. Let's not have that fight. Come on, let's code. Well, I want to code. It's not hipster browsing. It's objectively faster to browse with the terminal. Objectively faster because I don't have to load. It's also safer because I don't have to deal with privacy settings and all that shit. I don't have to load any JavaScript. I don't have to look at all the pictures that are irrelevant. If you set up VI modes, I can do the whole thing with one hand and the other hand drinking coffee. It's not that I don't like pictures. I don't want pictures getting in the way when I'm looking for answers. And I'm not the only one. There's like 0.001% of people on planet Earth who actually understand this. And, and they're not just all old, by the way. Some of them are, I was so happy to discover, like an 18 to 19-year-old who was like really into it. I was guessing, I don't know the age, but it seemed like it was a younger person. How's that? Mouse gestures are bullshit. They will never be as fast. That's coming from a gamer generation who uses their mouse for everything. Yep. Links, and I made a whole video about it. You can go read about it. If you truly want to join the Terminal Master race, learn about links. And you'll find stuff faster than you could ever dream. All right, so, hey, look, I actually have stuff happening over here. We're just missing... Hey, look, the tokens are all generated, except for the comp order ones. Copy paste. Oh, the truth is I only have to do this through the tmap. I only have to do this through the tmap. Order string tokens. You know what? There shouldn't be any other tokens here. So let's see. Order comp tokens. My compound tokens should be. Oh crap! I didn't isolate compound token. So there's still a problem, but I shall get to the bottom of it. Found the video on links. Thanks. Yep. It doesn't work. Good try, Denny. I've had people try all kinds of stuff. 50 links in a few clicks. Why browse them when you can choose when you don't need it? If you are looking for some products and you need images. Yeah, and when I do that, well, I don't know. Let's do that. Let's do that. Here you go. Running shoes. Obviously, I need to see these. Actually, no. Let's do this. Barefoot. All right. So barefoot runner shoes. Here's some right here. Let's go check them out. Oh no, there's pictures that I can't see. Push. I open in a link in a graphic browser. Boom. Still faster than if I had tried to search using Google or Firefox. Sorry, you don't have to be me. You don't have to do what I do. I'm not saying anybody has to do it. I'm just going to be happy being like 10 times faster than you. And if that sounds elitist, I'm sorry. It's objective truth. I can beat anybody in a search, even Mouse. And Mouse claims Mouse Potato wants to have a competition with me someday, but he never actually did. Yeah, Merrill are my favorite, Greg, by the way. Yeah, those are definitely my favorite. Yep. Master at debate. You know how you win at debate? Use facts. I lose all the time versus facts. So yeah, I have he's off in boarding school now, one of the most elite boarding schools in America, actually. North Carolina's School of Science and Technology. It's basically Harry Potter for science. And Mark he's a big debate team dude. And he crushes me every time with facts. It's so much fun having him in my community all these years. He's the first person. So at 12 years old, he came in and I used to always ask him, what do you want to do when you're here? You have to have a project that you want to work on. Talk over the other person. Sorry. It's really easy when you're streaming. And he said, I want to run a mail server for my home. I'm like 12 years old. He's like 10, 11, 12, something like that. I can't remember. And then I learned out his dad was the director of technology for Davidson College, and you know, he's a different school now, and you know, he's always been into technology, and yeah, so he's talking about encryption algorithms in the local Linux meetup at like 14. And he has a hard time focusing on coding though, because he's got an IT architect brain. He's always chasing the current thing. And he was actually in my stream. You go watch him chat. He's in the video of the Rust video, and he's like trying to keep me on stage. He's like, Rob, you're wrong, Mr. Rob, you're wrong. He's like, Rust has built-in documentation. You just don't know about it. And he's like, oh fuck, he's right. You know, it's like he's absolutely right. But every time we ever have a debate, he like just shuts me down with facts. And he's like, and you know, it's like it doesn't have Rust doesn't have inline testing. Rob, you're wrong, Mr. Rob, you're wrong. You know, and he's just so good at it. And it makes me want to promote debate, because good debate is a healthy way to arrive at the truth. Good debate is a healthy way to do that. And we kind of lost the art of that. You know, we go ad hominem. That's the word that Dennis used on the stream here once, and I really respect that. We go, you know, we attack the person and say, well, you're a moron. Or whatever, right? And I think we could use a lot of healthy debate. I think our world, if we could get back to having, you know, like Voyager debate. You ever watch Voyager just for fun to see this dystopian future where everybody actually gets along more or less. And when they disagree, they have heated disagreements and stay respectful the whole time. And they give everybody the benefit of the doubt. It's just like wonderful vision of what humans could do if we hadn't been polarized to death by social engineering and had our realities controlled for us and a bunch of other shit. Reducio, add whoever you hate to win debates. Yes. Reducto to resolve. Yeah. This safe space concept is nonsense. It's true. It's true, Mac, and that's we are so easy to take offense and be offended and to offend others right now. I mean, I've talked about that all the time. I don't want to belabor that point, but it is a big point. And since I am streaming, I might maybe somebody will hear it. I have fun with stuff that I disagree with and make fun of. It's different. That's why I actually one of the reasons I started to stream, because the stuff that I'm telling you guys a lot of times when I speak it, for better or worse, you get to hear the intonation. You know whether I'm serious or not. If I write it, people are ready to track me down because how dare I, right? And it's easy. It's a lot harder to come across, as an asshole when you're talking to someone face to face, or when you're even speaking the words instead of writing them. Yeah. Yep. Oh, how's it going, Zero Hero? Morning, evening, etc. Wherever you are. Yep. I'm gonna go get coffee. I'm just doing a little bit of Go code automatic generation from an AST. Mr. Rob, you're wrong. That's gonna go in his like macros now. Mac's now got that macro. 7 a.m. local. All right, I'm gonna leave this on. You can look at the pretty Go code while I go get coffee. I'll be right back. my God. I'm not debating. Oh, could you actually hear it? Come on, Zaf. Did you actually hear it? Because we were pretty damn loud. Yeah. If you turn my mic up enough, if you turn your mic up enough, you can hear us debating downstairs. You can hear us like talking throughout the house, and oh yeah, we were just talking about there's debates tonight. The debate is coming tonight, so we're trying to prepare ourselves for that. Yeah. Anyway, back to boring coding. I actually really love the coding. This thing needs to be, let's start with one thing at a time. So, how well I can hear sounds coming from your house. Well, is it that bad? I know, it's like a really good mic though. And lately it's been like really on really well. It's like you can hear it's like in the kitchen and in the bathroom. There you go. Oh, well. If you got headphones on, you probably hear all kinds of good stuff. It's only going to get worse. After we move, yeah, not my mic. Yeah, when we get to the new place, yeah, this isn't even my good mic. I have a studio mic, my NT, my Rode. I have to watch out for that because it can pick up stuff like from the street. So it's like, so yeah, we were downstairs debating. We weren't debating. My wife and I were just talking about the stuff coming up this, and we're always loud in this house. So anyway, I have nothing to hide. Let's put it that way. The situation. There's this thing. So this is really dumb. Anybody want to tell me why this line right here is really dumb? Why was this line of mine so stupid? I mean, just so dumb. So the reason I was doing it is because I was building up a buffer that was going to be printed in text, which is fine. But that doesn't help when it comes to like joining those characters together because I had to have the actual value. So I'm going to put is really dumb there and get rid of it. It makes me feel better. The problem is that I'm not parsing the integer from it. So if you are kind of a demented person and you're interested in how to parse actual values from a string, pay attention. That's what we're going to be doing in the next few minutes. So the first thing is Go has an entire library called string-conv package that has all these really great things in it. It has A to I, which is the most commonly used. That's the one that converts a string into an integer, which is frequently used when you're parsing command line arguments and stuff like that. But in this case, you have a much more detailed way to parse stuff. So this is me here parsing a hexadecimal value, which is because it's a rune. Actually, if it's hexadecimal, I need to go up to 64. I need to go and bump that up. The runes could be done as, so runes are, just so you know, a rune is an alias for an unsigned uint32, and that's a Unicode code point. And in this case, it's actually a hexadecimal value, which comes in as like this. So you get x9, xa, blah blah blah. And the way to do that is I detect that there's an x on there, and then I chop off the x, and I get a number. So that gives me a string with a number in it, and then I parse that as an unsigned int using hexadecimal base. This first number is the base. So, pay attention in math class if you haven't, when they talk about bases, base 2, base 8, base 16, base 64. Those are big computer things. And then this is the size for the max size, which is 64. And so that it gives me an error, and then the value, since this is, relatively commonly expected stuff. And then this is what's kind of weird, is I actually have to convert it back to a character using sprintf. This C is actually for rune. It doesn't mean just ASCII character, thank God. So then that takes the value of E, which is a number, and then converts it into its character, and then you get this. So down here you get like the max Latin value, and if it can't represent it, it'll automatically escape it as a Unicode rune. So that's all good. So that adds the actual value to the buffer, and then we return the buffer as a value. And the reason for that is so that we can add multiple things together. So if I had, two, now see, unknown and replaced in max rune, these are kind of interesting because they cannot be represented as these are Unicode. We haven't done Unicode yet, so we're going to do that right now. And the Unicode stuff is a little bit trickier because we need to do a little bit different parsing here. So we're going to do that right now. So the Unicode, we're going to parse. We're going to chop off the U and the plus, which is the standard. I gave a lot of thought to this when I was making up the standard for representing certain numbers. It's also why in my PEGN notation I don't allow a lot of variation in how you represent certain things because it was just too hard to parse all the different options. And so there's really no need. It's nice to have one best way to do it. So that's what we're doing. So this one, we're going to skip past 2, and that's going to get us a value. The question is, yep, there we go. So as you can see, that was all we needed to do. It is a hexadecimal value. Unicode is hexadecimal. So we took a hexadecimal value that's up to 64 in length. We parsed out the value, and now we've got our representation in our code generator. It's just fine. And if this had been 2 strings together, that would have worked as well. Here we get the actual values, which I think is interesting. So those are apparently can be represented. So they're there. And that's, again, this is Go code. This is not PEGN code. Otherwise that would be a problem because it's not allowed, which I had a bug about yesterday. I actually had those in the comments. I had an example of this in the comments, and it truncated my entire notation because that symbol indicates the end of file in my parser. For better or worse, I hope that doesn't come out later to be a problem. I can't imagine people using that as part of their grammar. That would be a problem, or their data even. But I don't know. That may or may not be a problem someday. I don't know. We'll have to look at that when we revisit the parser and we put the parser in line as a single thing. All right. So next we have. So that covers everything except for compounds, and so let's take a look at those. I think the compounds are up here. Compounds should have been skipped, so I just want to make sure. Nope. Character and line feed is still represented. It did not skip it. So yeah. I think this is for each node. Oh, wait. That is not something that I want to reset. That's the problem there. Yeah, because this is happening for it's a walk function, so it's a function that gets executed for every node. Yeah, okay, so that eliminated it. Space is what it's supposed to be, and that's what we want. And then that should have added it to the end if we did this right. I didn't, obviously, because the other one isn't written yet, but I'll write it right now. So we've gotten everything to work in our simple tokens. Simple tokens are all just one character, or there are multiple characters, but you can't have any tokens that have references to other tokens because I have to look those up in order to resolve them, and they aren't able to be looked up. And that's why we have to do 2 passes on this. There's no other way. It has to be done that way. So yeah, so this guy, we'll get rid of that. That was a bug. And if it's just a string, just add it. If it's a token ID, we're not good. We're like, skip that dude. We want to come back. And so yeah, again, and then we visit every token node. All right. So the next one is going to be almost the exact same code as this. It's just going to It's just going to have the ability of looking up stuff while it's going through it. You know what? It's going to be the same code. I could probably get away with calling this same exact one because it's all the same logic, with some kind of switch on it, to tell it not to, some sort of option on it to tell it not to do that. You know what I could do is no, because that's already been defined. So, let me think here. You know what else I could do is I could recursively call myself again at the end of this if I didn't have the tokens. Let me think about that for a second. That would mean that the identities would be, so if it had, let me think here. What I could do, that would probably be more efficient. I could do a loop through it, and I could do, instead of having this just skip, I could have it add an empty string. And then I could, down here, I could do a recursive loop and call itself again for all of the, only for the empty strings. Do 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 do. If I made the value, no, I'm trying to get creative here. I really don't want to copy all this code again. So what I need is to do something better here. When we have a token ID, I need to flag it and do it again after I have all the data. Does that make sense? So, in fact, I could do 2 visits in one function and get rid of the other one. Well, that's probably the way to go. And then I just get ordered tokens. Yeah, that's definitely the thing to do. And we just do 2 passes. That's the way to go. All right, so gen tokens, we don't need this. And order tokens. The other thing too about the tokens is I'm not maintaining the order currently. I don't know that matters, but I need a better way to maintain the order, which means I need to put something empty into it so that I can go back through the empty and expand it. Maybe put a flag on it and say this is a compound token. That's probably a much better way to do this. So yeah. In fact, I could make. Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways to do this. So probably one of the best ways though is to instead of making a token. This is this is using Golang interfaces. I can change the value to be an interface, and if the interface is a string, leave it alone. But if the interface is an interface, then actually do something different to it. I love switching on type. It's one of the best things you can do in Golang. It's also a very Go specific thing, so it's against acmeism, which is a word from IGNI that Greg mentioned to me. That very, very fascinating approach to making all code, writable in any other code. But in this case, switching on type is a really useful thing. I mean, obviously, if I were doing this in C, I would just make another thing here, and I would say if you're, if I have the node that it goes with it, let's do it. Let's do it in a way that could be ported to C. So we just add another struct here and make it a PEGN node pointer. So if we have a PEGN node, that means I am unresolved. That means 0 value, and then it means I suck. And then I can go through the list again. Only this time I can expand that particular one. And I think everything that is possible in here is a root. So I don't ever have to descend into any kind of tree or anything, which would blow up that approach if I did that. So let's see if I can get my head around that. So the only values for tokens are, where are they? There they are. Runes, strings, and token IDs. So there's no descending. So a token ID, however, is very special. Token ID can have a child, but it's not. It's only to indicate an attribute. So this seems like a solid approach. I'm going to go ahead and try that. I'm going to fix my identifiers first. Get string. I don't even think I have that anymore. Do I? What is it getting called from? Django 46. 46 generate ordered tokens. Ordered tokes. And we don't want string tokens. We want. Wait. I can do all this from a single. I can do all this from a single thing. Yeah. Alrighty. This is gonna get ugly, but yeah, I think I can do this. And you know, cause reasons. 106. I could probably do this easier, but I'll put this right here. And then I've got my tmap of tokens. I don't think I need that anymore. We do need a tmap of tokens. What am I saying? Tmap is a tokens. All right, and then what? All right, so yeah, we go do our walk. I mean, this action doesn't even need to be in here. This could be in its own thing. I do like to keep, you know, callback functions in whatever. It's not really a callback function. It's not handling an event, but I like, you know, to keep them kind of embedded. But strictly speaking, this doesn't have to be there. The problem with that is I can't test it. So yeah, I'm going to break it out. I'm definitely going to break it out. I needed to break it out anyway for testing purposes. So yeah, I mean, after like, you know, 20 lines, definitely needs to be broken out. So 93, delete 93. Put this up here, and we'll actually give it a proper name. It's like I don't know what I'm gonna say. When we have a closure going on, that's why. That's why I can't do that. I can't do a closure in a public space like that. Fuck. Forget everything I just said. I know I'm doing this the slow way. Sue me. There. The reason we have to do this is because we have an enclosure. This is an enclosure, which makes it much harder to test. I couldn't. So if I were to put this as this action function, if I were to put it up here, I would have to make token and tmap package variables, and I'm not doing that. That's not worth the testing ability. Another way to do this would be to create a closure or a walk function where you can pass the things in, but because I'm using this generic idea, I could write my own walk function just for this purpose, but I'm trying to use the visit that comes with the node tree for free, so that just takes an action, which means you can't pass in any variables other than, you know, the action itself. And that means the only way to get stuff into it is through a closure. And if you don't know what closures are, they can be kind of hairy. But yeah, but they're definitely worth it. I think they're super cool, personally. But what do I know? 84. So T has token T equals token ident in the buff. They are, you better go learn. Where have you, Greg, I'm just curious, have you used closures before? They are, yeah, they are pretty arcane science when you're starting out. But once you start to find use cases for them, you're like, oh my God, they're so awesome. A closure, in case anybody wants to know, if I might get it wrong. I don't know if closure refers to the function. Oh wow, yeah, JavaScript is fucking full of closure, because it's a, you know, and I think it's part of functional programming. Personally, I could be wrong on that, but um, so a closure is when you have a variable that is scoped within sort of the same scope like we have here as a function, but then you refer to the variable inside of the function that's not getting called yet. And well, why would I do that? Because every time this action gets called, the reference to tmaps and tokes is the same for everything that calls it. So it's a way of passing what feels like global scope to the function without forcing the function to have an argument parameter. If you give it an argument parameter, then it only lives during the life of that single execution of the function. But if you give it a you know, like a closure, and that's what I've got right here, tokes, right? Tokes and tmap, right? So what this is adding is, it's like I could be, you know, there's no concurrency protection here, but if I were doing this even concurrently, asynchronously, I could, you know, I could update this. So what it does is it encloses these variables inside of the function so that their references stay the same, so that anything that modifies that thing modifies the one that was originally referred to outside of the function. And that's why it's called a closure, because it encloses the scope of variables that are outside of itself. And if you're just getting your head around, you know, variable scope in general and what that means, and particularly if you're coming from Python and you're having to fight with globals and stuff, that might not make any sense. But it's really, really important. I think it's even more, I found myself having to do this even more, that I've been doing more of a functional approach to everything. Because obviously, if you're taking an object-oriented approach, you know, you just add another class variable, and you know, you're good, right? And then everybody can just modify that one or reset it, which I'm going to do for the parser, by the way. The parser, the rewrite of the, not rewrite, but the new one file parser that's coming from the other one, I'm going to, instead of using things like buffer and begin and end and all these variables that I'm initializing in every single parse function, those are going to be redone as single variables that are part of the parser struct that are going to get reused internally, so that I don't have to reinitialize them every time and allocate memory and all that shit. So that way I can just reuse the same one and set it to 0. And it's a very, honestly, Mac might be able to confirm this better, but that's more of a C approach to life. Reuse what you have, you know, don't make a new one. And I, you know, that it can get you into trouble if you don't free it, if you forget it's there and all that stuff. But anyway, so this gets us pretty far, and the rest I got some symbol problems, some naming stuff still going on I need to get rid of. So if has token, here's the thing, this whole has token thing is going to change. So I'm going to do this. If it has the token, I'm just going to add the token. I'm going to say that, well, I don't know. I guess I can't really. If we do this, we kind of have to have a, you know, whatever the last token was. So I'll say TK equals V. No, TK equals SIB. And so down here we would say if it's a TK, then add it here. If it's not, then add it here. And I'm going to reuse TK as a PEGN node reference. So yeah. TP organism is token little 82. Yeah, token buff and nil. That's going to change though. So we're going to say, yeah, the problem I have with this is that this is always going to be the last one, so it's not going to be cleared out. Actually, no, because this is the scope of a single action execution, which only happens per node, so we're good to go there. Sometimes you can get confused when you're dealing with closures. When I'm dealing with closures, it makes me feel like I'm writing code that's in some sort of loop that's iterating, when in fact this function it only acts on a single node ever. But because I have code in here that's like appending to things and stuff like that, I lose my mind cognitively, like lose my track and cognitively of what kind of thing it is I'm working on, and I keep forgetting that the buffer is, well, in that case no, but the tokens in these things down here, that these are actually out of the scope of the function, and therefore like breaking right here is the proper thing to do. Right. So if TK comes down here, the reason I freaked out about that is because, like, man, I got to reset the TK in the next iteration of this loop. The fact of the matter is I don't. It's the asymmetric curlies. No, it's not. It's not Mac. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? When I code some C for a while, we can talk about that. I actually am thinking about maybe adopting that for a lot of C code, just so I can tell the code apart. You just wanted to use your new macro. Oh God, that's your funny, dude. All right. So here we go. We got so we've got all this going down, and I think everything's all healthy and good. Right here, though, I need to do this differently. So, I mean, there's a couple ways I could do this. I can't use a ternary, which, bad me for even thinking about it. Ternaries are in-place operators that involve question mark and stuff like that, which would have been nice. I mean, if I was using a ternary right here, I could have done this. I could say if there's a TK, if I was using duck typing, I could do this too. It's a very JavaScripty kind of thing to do. I could have said if there's a TK, use set this to TK. Otherwise, do nil. That's a ternary operator, which is not. There's no such thing. I go for really good reason because of what I just did. And we're not going to do that. Does C have ternaries? Does C language have ternary operator? I don't think it does. No results. What the does the C programming language? I probably spelled it wrong. Yeah, sorry. I think I spelled it wrong. Yep, there it is. Ternary operator in C. Please tell me it has it. So if else statement, ternary, blah 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 blah. Syntax and conditional operators of the form. Hey, there's your look, Mac. Look. I know that would please you. You've been complaining about asymmetric curlies forever. So yeah, so there we go. There's the ternary. It looks like C supports it, which is interesting. So there you go. So C supports it, Go does not. For reasons that we can talk to some other time. That's actually one of Brian Kellentrill's pet peeves, as I understood it. He talked about it. The logical, I think, was it logical XOR? I think that's it. His gripe is that C doesn't have logical XOR. It's like, it has everything else. Why not that? Ternary operator, yeah. And yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'd written lots of them. So instead of using that, we have to say if there's a TK, if TK does not equal nil, then what? We didn't want to do this, but well, var. If I do this right, this line right here would give me all kinds of warnings in my linter or my vetter if I didn't do it. So this is, I think they call this is it composite initialization, and it's a big bad thing to do. I don't agree that it's a bad thing. They think it's a bad thing because if you change the order of your structs, your struct members, you know, the things in there, that you'll break everything. And so based on that, knowing that, I'm gonna not do that. It's gonna be more code, but var. I actually like this. It's nice and compact, but they're absolutely right. They go so far as to say it's an accident waiting to happen, because all I have to do to break this is change my definition of token and change the order like that. Bam! Everything blows up and nobody knows why. Right? Somebody comes in here and they innocently change the order of the structs, and then somebody who's using composite, that's what it's called. Somebody who's using composite notation for initialization gets blown up, and they're like, "What the fuck? Why'd you change the order?" So because I wanted to, right? So, or if they, there's another one that's even worse. If they add another thing, which is very common, right? So if they add another thing, if they add another value, then all of your composite initializations blow up because they don't have enough in them. And so this is considered like really bad form. So much is so that I had to disable it in the linter. And frankly, now that I'm not using my expect syntax, I don't need it anymore. I'm glad I thought of this. I'm going to go turn off my disabling of that because I actually want it on again. It took me a full 6 hours to find out how to disable this thing. I swear. I was like, what? Why is it such a pain in the ass? So here it is. Here's a Go PLS analysis to be false. I got Go imports, enabled, Go vet, metalinter. Where is it? I think that's it. I think that's the only one I needed to have in there. But I actually also have some stuff. There's another file. I think it's in my Git. It might not be in this one anymore, actually. Nope, it's not good. There's a localized thing you can do for GoVet that'll just apply to stuff in here. Order a specific structure definition. So it's not, yeah. Mac, they make you do it. They make you do it without. They make you do it explicitly, right? Isn't it? But they use arrow notations for pointers and not dot notation, right? Again, I'm just reminding myself what C looks like. It's been 10 years. So yeah, and but otherwise the similarities to C and Go I really like, and you definitely can't say that about Rust. So let's see here. That is nice, but order independent. Yeah, and that's, yeah. So let's actually do the right thing here. So that means I have to declare a token. So we'll declare T as a type token and not a pointer or anything, and then we'll just do this instead. We can say t.ident equals ident, and then t.buff t.value equals buff, and then t. If the token does not equal nil, then actually, if it is, we're going to throw out the buffer, actually. So that's good. That's good to do that. We don't want the buffer anywhere near there. Dot notation. So they do use dot notation? Yeah. I always mix up dot and arrow notation in C. It's like a common thing with me. TK, wait. What did I call this thing? I don't even remember. Node, right. So if we want the actual node, it's a pointer to the node, so it's not that heavy. So node, and we'll do TK, which is up above. And this is actually one of those cases where, you know, we could have an else. So mutually exclusive here, even though you don't technically need it, saves you from code that would unnecessarily be overwritten. So this actually is a case where else makes more efficient sense. So yeah, actually let's like, it's true or false, doesn't matter. So t.ident equals, it's also a little bit more explicit. So you know what I could do? I could do this. Why am I not doing that? Right? Don't repeat yourself, people. And then down here we have the value equals above and the node equals nothing. We want it to be 0, which will be the zero value for zero values are Go specific. String zero values are empty string. Numbers are 0. True false is false, and anything else is nil. Or it's or sending data structures. Yeah. So yeah, and I like this because this is the way I can preserve the order of the tokens as they appear in the file. So that just seems like the right thing to do. And so we have we're appending the tokens T, and we're setting the IMAP to T. The reason for this is so that I can do the lookup when I'm gonna do the path. I'm gonna visit everything with the first action, and then I'm gonna visit it with another action, which is gonna expand on this, which actually makes for the case to put this right here into a function, which totally could be this function right here. Again, there's not a lot of performance requirements for this thing. This is just code generation, so we're good to go in terms of performance. So I can bust this out into a function and not have a problem, because none of this stuff is dependent on anything that's not localized. So that is definitely a candidate for factoring as a function. I'm going to go do that right now. The reason being is because I'm going to actually call this function again from a different action that expands all the compound things. And that way I can reuse the code from the previous one. So yeah, and there's other stuff I need to clean up here, but yeah, order tokens is the actually we don't want order tokens, we want just tokes. So we want just tokes. Tokes is what we want. In fact, these tokens here, we don't even need that anymore because we're not passing it anymore. So I did all that because of the silliness that I was doing earlier. So I actually can say that tmap equals a map string token, and we'll instantiate that so I can start using it. Get rid of tokens here, and then I can use the word tokens elsewhere where it makes more sense. Like, oh, I don't know, right here. So that could be tokens instead of tokes. I mean, I don't know. I don't like partial words either, unless they are really going to be out of control. So tokes, let's see. And I could actually define the struct token inside of here too if we really want to get crazy. Let's do that. Let's be really nice. This is something I found out relatively recently about Go. I accidentally defined a type struct inside of a function, which I thought for sure would be disallowed, and it worked. And the reason I love it is because it encapsulates the scope, so I don't have yet another name collision possibly. And so I'm a fan of that. Of that kind of thing. The only problem with that is that if I want to use this type of struct anywhere else, I'm kind of fucked and I'm about to break out this function into a top level, so I might be screwing myself up, right? Because down here, I think do I use a token? Yep. No, I'm just using PEGN nodes, so I don't have any tokens here that are doing this. I'm not building it. Actually, I think what I want to return from this is a token. So you know what? It's not hurting that anything, and if it it's not that big of a collision possibility. So I'll just leave it out. But I do like the ability to put structs inside of functions. A lot of times that's a sign that your function is getting out of control, though, right? As is this one. This is way too long for my taste. That means there's a big chunk of this thing that needs to go out into another function. And unless you're like really going for performance and you just want ridiculously long functions, like we see in code generation. So anyway, this is good. Tokens gets added. We have a tmap to the idents that points to the different token, and yeah. So these are update enclosures. I definitely want to make sure people understand that those are enclosures. Tokens. And what is an enclosure? Let's actually look up the formal definition. What is an enclosure in programming? I just want to read the definition so I can get my terminology right. People mix the term closure and enclosure all the time. In programming languages, a closure, also lexical closure or function closure, is a technique for implementing lexically scoped name binding in a language with first-class functions. First-class functions are functions that can be passed to other functions. Higher-order functions are functions that receive a first-class function as an argument parameter. Operationally, a closure is a record storing a function together with an environment, and that is what we just did, right? So this is this action function here, which is a first-class function. It's going to be passed to visit down below, which is a higher-order function. And this function here, it encloses the environment, which is tokens and tmap, of this. So the symbols and stuff that are in that scope. The environment is a mapping association, each free variable of the function variables that are used locally, but defined in, and I hate that they don't do their fonts right. It's so annoying. Variable, but they actually try to underline their entire font, and they've set it in their styles to be something different. It's so fucking stupid. Wikipedia is so dumb. To which name was bound when the closure was created. Unlike a plain function, a closure allows the function to access those captured variables, though the closure's copies of their variables, the closure's copies of their variables are references even when the function is invoked outside of its scope. So it just means you can use that function anywhere, and it'll remember anything that was outside of its scope that got captured inside of it. And if you change it, every function call that changes it will change it. It's just like it was a global, bottom line. And I'm going to go with the word enclosed for the stuff that's being closed, and closure as the function that's doing the closure. Okay, so enclosed in action. Okay. All right. I'm just going to put these here. Update enclosures. Update the enclosed. I don't, because I kind of want to call out anytime I have something that's enclosed, because I don't want to, if you try to rip stuff apart and move it around, you know, and you mess with the enclosed variables, you can get in trouble. So I'm putting some attention on those things. And then we have our visit. We're going to do another visit, by the way. So to do visit to expand compounds. So we're going to do another node tree, a full node tree walk, just to actually, no, we don't, but we don't need to visit. We don't need to. We can just loop. Expand compounds. Compound tokens, or multi-value, whatever you want to call them. We say in this regard, curly's define the given scope simply. Yeah, they do. It's just, Mac, it's look. Do you want me to start writing C code for you? Would that make you happy? Like that? The thing I don't like about C in that regard is that it can't make its mind up. It's like you only put right curlies on functions or something. Did I get that right? I mean, that's what I read in Torvald's guide. What's K&R say about that? Doesn't it say you have to have like it's only function identifiers that are like this? Is that true? What, you're not, dude? What? Look, which one do you follow? Do you follow K&R, Torvald's? Because Torvalds and K&R are basically the same. Or are you GNU dude? Because GNU has it. All begin curly should be on one line. That is not a part of any published standard I've ever read. Show me one standard that actually follows that professionally besides you. I would love to see it. I'm not mad. I'm just like, every time I've ever read it, this is why I get annoyed by it. It's like they have a different rule for structs from the functions. And then the functions, yeah, it's better visual structure. Yeah, maybe. I personally believe that historically, I don't know this, but I believe the reason historically is because of headers. They just wanted to grep all the headers out, anything with a func at the beginning or something, and they wanted to just be able to create their .h file faster. And they were annoyed because the curly was on the same line. And it's literally the same thing to declare your headers. I have been dogmatized. Yeah, I have. On that point, I won't lie. I definitely have been. I would much rather have that just drives me nuts, man. This one I can take. Go FMD. No, you can't. That's why I can't do it, B. Campbell. Yeah, we've had this debate before. Mac and I are just having fun. So first of all, the first reason I'm not doing it is because I physically cannot do it. Just like you physically cannot refuse to use tabs. You must use tabs in Go. It is the standard. It won't compile unless it's a tab. Pretty sure. And so, but it's not an issue in this language because why? Because every time as soon as you save anything, it fixes it. It fixes it for you, and that's the way it should be. Now, the thing that any language that forces you to use tabs is no language at all. Go ahead. Yeah, Campbell, I'm with you, BC. And that's how it's too much overhead. And I agree with the guys who designed Go. Stop fighting over style. Let's build a formatting tool into the language so everybody can stop fighting over style. You either write it this way or you don't write it at all. And I love that. I love that. I totally love it because I don't have to have any fights with anybody. I'm still like bent out of shape over this. Look at this. Here I have Go hex. Look at that. You see that? Right? And down here I have an underline. And Go will happily let you do that, which is bad enough. I kind of wish they'd forced us to use one of those. But they didn't. They said you can use both. So hexaduck, yes. So my point I'm making is that it's bad enough having to decide whether to use underscores or camel case. And we spent how many minutes wasted yesterday talking about that? So yeah. Far too much energy spent on style fighting, in my opinion. And once again, priority over productivity. Priority on productivity and not artistic expression. By the way, Nim is the polar opposite on this point. Nim says, we don't care what you call your identifiers. You want to put underscores? Great. We're going to chop out all the underscores. We're going to make everything lowercase. You can use whatever the fuck, even in the same language, you can use whatever identifiers you want, and you will never be able to grep out your identifiers or anything because they will all be different. You can have the same identifier written 10 different ways all throughout your code. That is the antithesis of developer productivity. It's certainly cool, and it lets you be very artistically expressing, and, so expressive, but that, people beat up Perl all the time for that, being able to be expressive and blah. Anyway, where'd my tokes go? I have some tokes left over. All right. Tokes has token ID is declared. We don't need it. Another reason I love Go. It's like, no. You can't leave ancient shit in here that's not used. What other language does that? I don't know of no language that does that. And I'm going to take a moment. People sometimes slam Go for this because it gets in their face, but I love this. This is, as somebody who's been doing code for a long time, it is so easy to leave unused shit in your code and go on. And then, a week later, you're like, oh my God, did I actually use this somewhere that I can't find because I'm a bad programmer and I didn't, go through it at the time? I absolutely love that Go does not let you leave unused code. It won't compile if you leave leftover code in your code. Show me one other language that does that. Any other language that does that. And I want to be wrong on this. I want to believe that some language designer out there has had the forethought and experience and wisdom to put this into the language. And so far, I know of no other language that can say that except for Go. And that reason alone is almost enough reason for me to use it. The cross compilation is the thing that really sold me. And so, people complain about that because they have to fix FMT all the time at the top. Unless you have the imports module, it gets really annoying because you can't even import something without using it. It's too much of your memory. Yeah. I mean, all that memory you might be doing, right? I mean, they have linters and stuff for other languages, but I'm not sure that's ever been built in any language. The biggest annoyance, by the way, if you're watching this and you're coming to Go for the first time, make sure you activate Go imports in your vimRC, because if you don't, you'll struggle with this and you'll hate Go. One of the things you'll hate is that all of this, up here in the import line. So like say you want to just print out something really fast, right? One of the most annoying things to beginners in the world is that they'll like put a little FMT printf, and they'll forget to import FMT. So they have to go up here and add the FMT line, and then they get their answer they want, and then they go delete their print FMT line, and then it says, I'm sorry, you're still using FMT. You have to delete that line too. So you have to go up and delete it. It's super annoying. The way to get around that is to use Go imports. Go is almost unusable, unless you have Go imports working. I mean, from a practical, you can do it, but from a practical sense, it's so annoying to be constantly living in your import section. And I lived through that for close to a year. And I was like, oh my God, this is so annoying. I wish this would go away. And then I accidentally tripped up on Go imports, and I started using this Vim plugin, and I was like, wait a second, did it just update my imports line for me automatically because it detected where my stuff was from my Go path? Holy shit. And as soon as I had that, I don't even look at my import section anymore because it just does the right thing. It'll even grab the package name from outside of the thing so that if your URLs don't match the package name, it puts that in there. That's what my PEGN stuff's been doing. That is so awesome. It's just so awesome. By the way, your little side note, little fun fact on Go imports have to be at the top. And C and other languages, the includes and stuff like that can be anywhere. Work well with if you're doing completion, if you're doing code completion, then you've got other problems. I fucking hate code completion. I will never use it. It just gets in your way, dude. It gets so in your way. This is to hack malicious code. I never use it. And you know what? This is true for most advanced programmers I've met, and I'm not putting you down, Tom. Most people are kind of enamored with it for a while, particularly if they're new to a language, and then they realize if they want to look something. So this is how it goes. Okay, this is how the evolution of using code completion goes. So at first you're like, oh my God, that's so awesome. I have all those hints and everything. Right, particularly VS Code HTML comes to mind, right? I mean, you can type a doc type tag and hit tab and have the whole freaking template populated, right? I mean, it seems really fast and awesome at first, and then you start to try to complete, and it's like popping up the shit in your face the whole time. And you can't think, you can't concentrate on what you're writing, and you're like, yes, I know how to write a print statement. Stop reminding me. And then people say, well, you can always turn down that. You can turn it off, or you can turn it down so it's only running. I'm like, yeah, but if I'm going to spend that much overhead just managing my code completion stuff, I tell you what's better. And so people like me, this is what they do. It's like Golang print function. They get really good at searching for the answers that include the full documentation. Boom. How many seconds did it take? Less than 1 second for me to get to the docs? It took me almost as fast to get the fucking completion out of my face to look it up on the internet and get my answer with full examples and full documentation, instead of being teased by code completion that says, hey, here's the syntax. I'm like, yeah, but what the fuck is this thing? Why does it say interface? What is this interface? What things can be here? You want the full docs. You don't want some code completion to tease you into saying, and then you end up having to bail and go search it on the Google browser anyway. So I'm not angry, but my point is this. If you're going to look it up, look it up. Otherwise, get good without the completion and then do the other stuff. And make sure it catches your spelling errors and stuff that won't compile, which is, of course, what this tool does. And then I'm back here and I can look at all my, my testable examples and everything. So to me, code completion is like really painful. And if you watch somebody like Dennis, who didn't even have code completion back in the day, right? We were just using man pages. It was the same thing with this, right? You do man whatever libc, and you go look up your man pages, and you had it all on your machine, and you could look it up. That was the alternative because this is how we did our editing. Now, some people think that that's old school boomer way of doing things, but I actually think code completion is one of the worst things ever invented. Not only does it make you lazy, but it doesn't even give you the full context, and you're only getting one idea. And God help you if the code completion is busted. You know what I mean? If it's not even doing it right. So I'm just not a fan at all. And I found that people that have been around a while, not just people who come from a generation of terminal programmers, there's VS Code people who hate it too. Make sure it's turned off. And so, but much like Go imports makes you lazy. Go imports makes me lazy in a way that I'm okay with, though. I don't need to be taught to import my package every time. I mean, that logic does not hold, right? That does not hold. It's like importing. This is something that is consistent. It should have been built into the editor. I get it, right? Uh, you forget what modules you use. And I've had problems. I've had to fight with Go imports before. I won't lie. You've probably seen it on the stream a couple times. Sometimes if you're like working on one and you haven't got your Go mod set up correct with the replace line, then it'll bring in the wrong one and you have to go deal with it. Jump to definition. I see more context. I might try turning it off and see how I can adapt. And to go 1 week, so new to me. No, if you're beginning, then go for it. Use whatever tool works for you. And I'm not putting down anybody's particular tool right now. I'm just telling you why it annoys me. And you can adapt that to your own needs. However, when I'm teaching beginners in particular, crap is all you need. When I'm teaching beginners, there are lots of reasons to use an ID. Symbol changes is a big one, right? You guys have seen me using Perl to replace names and stuff like that. That's extremely dangerous. It would be much more. That's one case. The one time when I wish I had a quote Emacs or an ID of some kind that has knowledge of the symbols. And I'm pretty sure there's a Vim plugin to do that for Go that I just don't know how to use yet. So I stick with my find and replace, which works for me. And I'm not even good with Vim. Greg is good with Vim. There you go. Yeah. There is. I said Greg's name and he like literally typed LS right when I said his name. It must have been a universal thing. Yeah. And so but the one reason to use Vim above all others, Greg, I'm going to give you full credit for this, my friend. Thank you so much for giving me that little tiny ribbing about not using macros the other day, because macros, as far as I know, the ease with which Vim macros can be used completely and totally destroys all editor competition. There's just nothing even close to it because it can't do it. It can't do it. And it's just so amazing. And since I've learned them, I'm like such a fan of Vim. Normally, I would not use macros if I were doing VI in a hacking scenario where I had to be effective on multiple computers. But, my God. Fortunately, there are no good Vim plugins for auto-completion navigation for big projects. Yeah. And Mac, this is where I'm kind of don't have enough information to have an opinion. I would really love to get to the point where I'm helping to contribute to like a massive project like that. And then how would you do that? Right. So yeah, I haven't worked on any projects that have more than 20,000 lines of code in them. So I would really love to see. That's why at first I was, benefit of the doubt. Okay. At first I was kind of anti Microsoft Studio. But if you're working on a project that's got 50, 100,000 lines of code in it, then, a big monstrous IDE like that starts to make more sense to me. I would hate it, but, at that point it kind of starts to make sense. You got so much to manage. Yeah. I was going to say, yeah, performance. That's what yeah. Anyway, so I need to make another pass down here. Yeah, I think we pretty much have everything else though. So we're putting the buffer. So I think I'm about ready to give this a shot. Going to Vim solution, but haven't found it. I haven't either, Mac. And frankly, if I were going to find a solution, I have a feeling it would be in the Emacs land. I imagine this is why. You know what? This is something I really wish I could pick Linus Torvalds' brain on, because I found out to my surprise some time ago that he's an Emacs user. Yeah, he uses some like slimmed down version of Emacs, and a lot of computer science people who come from colleges love Emacs, And I used to make fun of it because I'm kind of a systems engineer. I need to be effective everywhere very quickly, and so I have different values. But now that I'm doing a lot more coding, I'm feeling the lure of Emacs a lot more. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see, because Vim has made up for a lot of the things that are missing in Emacs, Vim and Tmux, and then you got Emacs that's been doing, it's been used to work on massive projects since the 70s. I know, Barnesy. Look, the most important thing to take away from this is don't be a technology bigot. Be willing to use the right tool for the job, no matter what. And, if somebody, yeah, I really want to find a Vim solution for large scale projects. And I'm not aware of one to that degree. I'm also not aware of the ones for Emacs either. I don't want to give up my terminal though. That's not happening. So that means there's only really one other option, and that would be Emacs. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not, I've told you over and over again why I think VI is dominant for most of the stuff I do, but I'm starting to work on bigger projects, bigger coding projects. And when I spend the whole day in a code editor, I start to feel the subtle pain points of VI, of Vim. And that's not just because I suck at it. I found out about macros. Awesome. Looking at Vim's popular, I still don't understand why Vim does not have a good default plugin system. Well, the default one kind of sucks. Yeah. But plug is pretty damn cool though. It's just Vim script is just so bad. You're going to see me writing some Vim script here pretty soon. I'm going to write some more Vim script to build a plugin for PEG, so we get syntax highlighting and linting for free in VI. Vim. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think it's because people are not into plugin systems in general. Yeah, I think Vim script is, and that's the biggest reason people. The biggest, okay, you guys hear me. I think NeoVim is a joke. I'm just going to put that out there. But the single biggest attraction from NeoVim for me is the support for multiple languages, which Vim now also has. So the GoPLS server that's being integrated into the GoPLS server that has been integrated into Vim now is, you can write in any language, including compiled Go code. So NeoVim has been good at pushing Vim in the right direction, and for that reason alone, I suppose I'm glad it exists. But I'll never use it. It has the priority. Look at the changelog, the stuff they ripped out of Vim that didn't need to. It's like I just went down, you just read through a line item on the changelog. You can tell where their priorities are, and I'm like, this is like some node developer got a hold of VI and tried to make it into something that they would really like. And that's not an exaggeration. And I was like, I cannot get behind that. I just totally cannot get behind that. Some of them are just damn laughable. Like they took out PCRE support, for example, for no reason, for no good reason. They just dropped it. Oh, we don't need that anymore. Like, okay. Meanwhile, they added node plugin support, and among many other things. It's a joke to me. The whole project's a joke. The priorities of the project are what make it a joke to me. That's all. So let's do this. I've got tokens going on. I only have a half an hour left before I need to go start packing. I need to do a second run to do the compounds, and then we'll be good. So we should have a carriage return line read, which is still not included here. Yeah, there it is. It's empty, so we have to expand that one. It's much easier to maintain. Probably, yeah. I just think their decision on what those features are is misguided. At least on the NeoVim project. And because, you know what, the thing that drives me crazy is that people don't even know how to use Vim. They don't even know how to use VI. Now, I've talked about this a million times. Nobody knows how to use Bang Bang. They're like, what is that? They've never integrated their shell with VI, ever. And so, and then they judge it based on having bad plugins architecture. Think, you know what? Maybe the reason that they don't have a lot of plugins is because they've gotten used to making shell script filters for everything instead. Yeah. 5% of the Vim features. Yeah. But I don't want to know all of the features. That's the other thing, is it's the whole cognitive overhead of it. I don't even think all the Vim commands should be used. all the beginning of line shit and all that. It's totally dumb. I think it's dumb. I do. I just think I don't. Why save like 10 different ways? I want to go to the beginning of a word. I want to go to the end of a word. I want to go. There doesn't need to be every one of those things. There needs to be one best way. And frankly, with the speed of modern editors, you can get away with this. You know, you guys might laugh, but you couldn't do that in the original terminals that required. They really depended on all of that stuff. So basically, yeah, I know Greg will not do this. He's like, no, that's not how you use VI. You should never ever spam your arrow keys. Oh my God, how dare you? And you know, there's a lot of people who were raised on VI, including me, who used to believe that, and I think it's a bunch of bullshit now. Because we have modern editors, it doesn't matter about, we don't have to, the only real thing, I'm not using arrow keys, God no. No, I teach beginners to use arrow keys because they don't know about the center row. And that's just to get them not to use nano. That is the only reason. And then after that, if they use arrow keys, they get this. See this? You guys want that code, by the way? You wean yourself off the arrow keys? I'll give you that code. All right. Here's how you wean yourself off the arrow keys right here. And here's how you use eeks to send code from VI. Assuming it works. There we go. So now if you're on the Twitch, you have a link to the arrow keys code you can write. So this turns off your arrow keys, and I activate this in the VimRC. So when I set up VimRCs for people that I mentor, I start out by allowing them to use arrow keys, so they can actually use it and not have to punt and use nano, for God's sake. And then they get used to it, and I say, okay, are you ready to try HJK and all that? Yeah, and then we turn them on, and it forces you to use arrow keys. So, because VI is nothing without, yeah. Yeah, I know, Mac. You know what? Look, you might not remember it, but once upon a time, you used Pico or Joe to get started. You're not going to tell me that you started using VI as your first thing you ever used. And I hate that too. I had to admit that to myself. My keyboard, I will use them. Now, if you're using arrow keys, oh my God, my opinion of you just went to 0, dude. If you're using arrow keys as a C programmer who swears by VI, they're not even distributed. They're not even supported. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The whole seriously, look at this. All right, oh look, I remember this. This happened like 3 years ago. They added arrow key support for to VI, which was not there. And all the Raspberry Pi users were like, I can't use my VI, because they used the actual VI, which had no support for arrow keys. And that's how I was raised. And you can, argue with me all you want. The whole point of using VI is to be productive on multiple systems. And if you're working on Solaris or AIX that doesn't have Vim with your precious arrow keys, you can slam on me for lots of other things with VI, but that ain't it. That's not one. No, it has not. No, it has not. Prove it. AIX does not have support for arrow keys. Raspberry Pi did not have support for arrow keys until... No, dude, I will prove it. I will prove it. I will pull up I can't actually now, because the Raspberry Pi VI... Look, you know how I know this? Because I had a bunch of 10-year-olds that I was teaching Linux on Raspberry Pi actually scream bloody murder because they couldn't use arrow keys with VI. I kid you not. That happened. And I was like, fuck, what am I going to do here? And so first of all, I had to install the real Vim, not the tiny one. And then I had to activate arrow keys. And then they put it in by default. Obviously, they had a lot of people getting mad at them. That happened. And I got witnesses, man. I got witnesses who were here since 2013. Touch my mouse. I'm going to do 100 push-ups. Ooh. I got to get back on track here, people. I'm having way too much fun. Fun is not allowed right now. But I will say this. I am happy. I had a couple of successes here. That's why I'm kind of enjoying the time. The first success is that I'm not going to have to throw away the multiple value constants in their order. Yeah, well, look, they may have been enabled, Mac. They were not enabled by default. And they were not available on the Raspberry Pi. So I'm going to stop right there. They were definitely not on AIX when I was managing all those systems, or Solaris. So, I I mean, it could have been something as simple as that the arrow keys weren't mapped properly. Maybe they were mapped as something else on some of the keyboards that we had. That could have been, I don't know. But the Raspberry Pi did not have the support, and it caused great pain and suffering. Plus, the whole point of learning VI is to learn VI navigation. That's how I navigate links. That's how I navigate my command line history. How many of you don't know about this? Please tell me everybody is doing this. They're not. People who tell me to do Control L, I'm like, oh, really? Really? You have no idea what you're talking about because you don't know about set-ovi. Barefoot running shoes. There you go. Anyway, another thing too that's great about searching from the command line is in my command line history, I have every search criteria I've ever searched for. I don't have to go out to the graphic browser and look up what it remembers and told Google that I last searched for. I rest my case. So carriage return line feed is not populated. It's an empty string. That's a good thing. We want that there. I'm going to go fix that right now. The reason I want that is because I want the order preserved, because this is the way in which the tokens were, oh God. Okay, set-ovi sets VI mode. The amount of people who don't know about this is downright troubling to me. It should be in everybody's RC. It's the first thing I type from any shell command. It allows you to, I'm pushing K and J right now to navigate my shell history. I'm going to search my shell history using the slash Golang, and basically it turns your shell history into a one-line window into a VI document, and you can do everything. You can like modify it. So if you want all those crazy commands that people learn to like to do stuff on there. So like I can do a Twitch, find Twitch. I can like do Twitch, see what it did. And I can change the word to something, you know what I mean? I can do all of my VI navigation and editing on any history line. And the fact that people don't know about that really troubles me. Because if you buy into the idea of VI in the first place, you should be using it everywhere. It's VI from the command line, my friends. Set-ovi, learn it, love it. And I mean, you can use all your line editing. So watch, T, E, and it jumps ahead to the E, and now I can change the word CW, what is, and closure. You see what I'm saying? So you can actually edit your history using VI from the history command line instead of having some different set of editor commands and shortcuts using the fucking control key. I just cannot believe people don't know about this. If you are using VI, and this is why when everybody says, oh yeah, use Control L, it'll clear your screen. I'm like, get the fuck out. I'm sorry, I'm like swearing. I told myself I wasn't going to swear. But you know what else is one key? It's less than your Control L and easier to type. Yeah, a lot of people don't know what equals route, and it annoys me because people start from the premise that all they have is what they know, and what they have is Emacs mode. Every Unix system comes with Emacs mode enabled, not VI mode. And every Unix system since the dawn of time pretty much has had both able to be enabled, but VI has to be turned on. So the first thing you put in your bash RC is set-ovi. All right, there, enough. But when you combine that with the fact that my links thing is like, what is VI mode? No, way too slow. If you're going to use a graphical browser, that's fine, but no. If you're going to use a graphic browser, but I never ever search on a graphic browser. I'm always faster. I'm always faster with a terminal. It's just too slow to do it any other way. I really believe that. And this is all VI commands. I'm doing this with one hand. This is one hand. The other hand can be drinking coffee, and I'm fine. I'm waiting. The only thing I'm waiting for, if I need the URLs, I type I, which is also my right hand, and then I can go grab the actual web page if I need it. If I want to modify everything, I can do that. It's just so much faster. I don't think less of anybody for not knowing about it, but it just frustrates me because people don't truly know what's available. They don't, and nobody's teaching it to them because it's not written anywhere, and God forbid someone read the bash man page. Yeah. I don't believe that. I was a web developer for Nike and for, IBM and myself here, and I don't believe that. It doesn't require bloat at all. It doesn't. You can do it completely and totally from the terminal without the bloat you think you need. People just don't spend the time to learn it, and they don't feel like it's worth the time. But those who do destroy everybody else, and I've seen them. And I'm not just talking about me. It's like, you know, IJ for history navigation, you can use control R time instead of leveraging bash history. You can use control R. Why would you ever do control R? Oh, Mac, please tell me you're not a control person. Oh God, you're dropping rungs, my friend. You're dropping rungs. I mean, your C will always be, oh God, you guys, I'm gonna vomit. Oh, okay, time for me to do something else. I'm less interested in talking to you right now. That is so disgusting. Oh, it is not the bash way. No, it is not. Prove it. It's the Emacs way. Why aren't you using Emacs all the time? Calling yourself a VI user and then using all the Emacs things on the bash command line is like the biggest hypocrisy in all of Unixdom. I love you. I love you. Don't take it the wrong way. Seriously, like learning all the shortcut keys from Emacs to navigate your bash shell and then, you know, being the wicked best VI user ever is like totally antithetical. It's like the opposite of efficiency. There, we can have a little fight. We're done now. We're done now. In case you're just joining, we love each other here. We're not mad. We're just having fun. Control P to navigate. Oh my God, please do not do Control P. Are you going to give me the 2 exclamation point shit again too? People always bring that up. Didn't answer what question? Equivalent of Control R? Are you talking about clearing the screen? What is the equivalent of Control R? I don't even know what Control R is. You have to tell me, because I guarantee you there's a faster way. Fine. What is Control R? Control R in bash. Search for a command. It's slash, dumbass. Love you, Mac. Of course, because that's the way you should be searching. Hello? Yeah. It's N and capital N. Duh. I mean, seriously, what do? I mean, watch. Golang. Okay, now let's go backwards. Oh, it's capital N and N. Capital N and N. Capital N and N. That's Control R. And guess what? It's also the same thing you do in bash. VI all the time. Once again, case made. It's the same thing. One cognitive thing to learn, not 5 different things, depending on what editor you're using. All right, time for me to take a break. So I don't get out of bed out of shape. See, look, I'm going to do it here. Oh, look, I searched for digit. Now I'm going to search upwards for digit, down for digit, up for digit. Now I'm going to be on the command line. Let's search for digit from my commands. Digit. Okay, now I'll search down. Now I'll search up. Same exact keystrokes. Exact keystrokes. Why the fuck would you do it with 2 different things? Why on earth would you do Control R to search your history when you could do set-ovi and use exactly the same keystrokes? Definition of insanity. Actually, it's more of a definition of ignorance. And I don't have anything against people, but that's why. It's just the frustration comes from the fact that people don't know this. People have been doing this, like Mac, who are geniuses, who are spectacularly huge, you know, awesome people and programmers, have never learned this. It's not a customization way. It's set-ovi. It's been built since in the Unix kernel since day 1. It's been VI. It's been in the VI mode the whole time. This is not a customization. This is not a customization. Yeah, this is one to take to Dennis. We'll have to take this argument to Dennis. I can save my notes and search through required giggles. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway. Love you guys. But that was a fun debate. It was just a debate. We still like each other. We're just debating technology, which is always a fun thing, as long as we stay friends afterward. You guys can make a decision about what you want to use based on the debate, which is how it should be, right? And there'll be people that are going to continue to use 2 different things, and there's going to be people who use the same thing for both. And that's up to you. I know. Dude, don't even get me started. Thank God for the graybeard who taught me that. You know? Why do you think I feel so much like internal conflict about not making beginner boost videos? Because I'm just, so what if it's not the default? You know why? Because the Emacs team, the people who made Bash, were GNU and they use Emacs. So are you saying that you want to be Stallman? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying you want to group yourself with Stallman and use all the defaults because they built the GNU shell and decided that Emacs was the only thing? Okay, then at least allow yourself the possibility to try using VI across the board on everything. You won't because your fingers have been programmed to do the other one, and that's totally fine. But what the frustration for me comes from all the beginners who don't know this, that they could have saved themselves all the hassle to learn all the stupid fucking customizations for Bash shell, which is the default, when they could have just set VO and just learned one true way, which is the VI way. There. I know it won't. So what? I just made my case. Bash shell was created by the Emacs people who believe that Emacs is the one true way to do everything, so they built it in as a default. That's why. Yet most of those people never use VI because hackers don't use Emacs. They use VI unless they're working on a big project. The end. So yeah, I mean, you can have fun with that one, but yeah, if you're, yeah, it just makes me crazy when beginners don't even know, so they don't even get the option, right? So, anyway, if it's been a debate and you guys can talk about it. I need to do something though. So what I'm doing right here before I leave I'm going to have to go here in a few minutes because I have to really do some moving stuff. But what I want to do is I want to expand the multi-user tokens, the multi-value tokens. So I need to walk through the thing again, and I'm going to need to call a function on that. So let's first of all see if I can just make something that does a walk through all that. So I'm going to do for let's see, key val in range, and then we're going to do this here. All right, so we're going to do this for kv equals range, and we're going to say that we want any of the ones. Actually, we don't care, so we're just going to range through the tmap. I think I called it. Yep, and this is outside of the function scope. So this is going to happen after that thing returns. And just for fun right now, let's just print it out. And we'll just print the keys out and the values. V declared but not used. Okay, fine. We'll do V and K and V. How's that? So there's our K and there's our V. And we'll go to the top of these and we'll go look. Here we go. So we have the Ks and the Vs, and see the ones that have nil. That's not good. Oh, I think it's, I'm mixing up my syntax. I have a feeling I'm mixing up my syntax. It's because it's everywhere. You have customized the hell out of it. I haven't customized the hell out of it. I use set-ovi default principle. I did lose the default. I learned to make VI the default. VI is the default everywhere. You lost. Just go away. Go away, Mac. Go do something else. I'm trying to code now. All right. You cannot make the argument that the cognitive overhead is worth not using set-vo. It is objectively faster and less to learn. That is my final statement on the matter. Okay. It's also the same reason that I made Tmux behave like screen, which you also hate. Hey, there's his macro. You guys, Mac and I are friends. In case you're wondering, we actually are friends. So we're having a very healthy debate here, but I would like to move on. All right, so println kv, and let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and print left arrow nil. All that stuff has nil in there, which is what we want. So we actually want to do k.value, and I'm going to say this. So I'm going to say if the value dot node does not equal nil, then I want to expand it, and I'm going to set the value to be, I'm going to change the value. I'm going to cheat, actually, and I'm going to make just for fun now, just make sure this code is working, and we're going to say v dot, what is it, string? Or is it value? Value equals fix me. How about that for now? This is just because I want to run a test real quick and see k is declared or not used. That's because actually we don't care about the key because it's built into the struct, so we're good to go there. In fact, wait a second. Let me think about this for a second. I think I need to iterate through the actual tokens themselves. No, because they're all pointers to the same thing. Huzzah! All right, so it should be pointing to the same data space. So when I change it, either from getting to it from the map, although ranging over the map is slower. So yeah, let's actually change that. Let's range over the tokens instead. That's much faster. Same result, just going to be a little bit different. So I know same result but different, right? It sounds contradictory, but we're going to do this. And then we're going to do this character return line feed. And so then we're going to do that. Value equals fix me. I don't know if that actually changed the value of the one that it was iterating over, which means I didn't save a pointer in the tokens array, which is what I need to do so that I can change both at the same time, as opposed to a copy of it. So let's make an array of pointers to the identifiers instead of the actual identifiers. So we're going to do take a pointer to it. And so yeah, and then down here we'll take a point. Actually, yeah, we'll also take a pointer to T here. If you don't do that, it'll make a copy of it, and I don't want that. So let's go here. I think we've already seen the first failure of that. Token in assignment. So let's see here. Tokens equals append tokens at T. Am I going to be able to do that? Oh, I think it's because I declared tokens as not being pointers. So this can be a pointer, token pointers. This can be token pointers, and then that should get me what I want, hopefully. Yep. So there now it says fix me, and then I can focus on fixing that one situation. I actually need to test several situations where we're doing this fix, and this is where I'm probably going to need to break out all of this code right here into its own function, so I can call the function again specifically for each of the tokens individually. And yeah, I definitely need that. So I'm trying to decide where we start here. Let's see, current equals blah, current next sib. I'm trying to decide where I can break this out into a function. End dot first child. This is just instantiating it, so I don't think I need to do that. First child, the current equals the first child. So I think I could just pass an n in here and do the whole thing. Yeah, I can. I can pass an n in, and then I get the buffer, and let's see, down here it appends everything to it. So what comes out of this? A t? So the var t comes out. Okay, so I see. So line 88, I think I can delete it. Let's do that, and we'll do a function call here for that. We'll call it, I don't know, func. I don't know, get buff. I mean, I can change it later. I don't really care right now. So n PEGN node, and we're going to return a token. Is that right? Yes. Token from. Yeah, we're going to get a pointer to a token. Let's do that. It's a little bit faster. And that's going to take in an n. And so we can do the n next sib thing again. I think I must have missed that. Where is it? Where are you? Oh, got to take this in there too. So that's got to come in here. And then, yeah, and then down here we create a token and return a pointer to it. Return a pointer to the token, and that function should stand by itself. It doesn't have any enclosed variables, so we should be good. And then I can replace this here with let's see here. I need I think I need a t equals get token or token from. What is it? Token from. token from. I should probably say simple token from, because that's what these are. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna have to do a recursive. This is basically becoming recursive, and I guess that's probably the way to look at it. Token from, and then we'll say an n here. We have an n, and then I can actually I don't need to do this anymore because t is a token pointer, and ident. So now it can't find ident. So down here I can do t dot ident for t undefined ident. What are we talking about? Line 64. Oh shit! Please, please no. Oh damn it! I didn't realize I was gonna have to grab all of that. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do. I didn't realize I was gonna have to do all that. I am though. All right, so because we need ident to populate the token down here. Yep. So that's seriously interesting. All right, so that's probably more like what I would expect to see though. You know, we just have some validation to make sure it's the right key. So this just filters out all the token depths, and then we want to get the token from the n. And this is going to mean we're going to have to call token depth again on certain things, and then I'm going to have to combine the token values coming out for all of the sub tokens for everything that has a token ID. So the main reason for this, in case anybody's wondering, is when I have a token ID, I have a recursive situation going on with token vals because they can be token IDs, and when they're a token ID, I need to expand the value of that token, which means it can also be a rune, a token string, and yet another token ID. So adding that really complicated life. Honestly, right now, I'm tempted to change the spec at this moment because of that. It would not be overreaching to say that a token value cannot have another token ID in it. And then I could make a token just runes and strings. And if I did that, all this recursive shit that I'm doing now would go away. And that would make any implementation much easier because this has basically got variables in it. And I have to expand those variables. All I have to do to change that is this. I just have to say that I want you to be, you know, oh, I know why I'm doing it. Now I know why. Because I was draconian and I said that you had to have, I could do it as long as I did runes, though. Actually, I can get by this whole problem. Oh my God, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this and I'm going to take a break. I'm going to change the spec so that you can't have token identifiers. But you can have multiple IDs, which I'm already supporting. And that would mean, so like line feed XA. So that if I do that, I'm done. Don't have to do anything else. So the only thing you can have is strings, hex, and numbers. That's it. So I'm going to make that official change to the spec. It's going to change the parser somewhat, but that's fine. And I'm dropping token IDs right at noon o'clock. The really cool thing about that is I'm done now. I'm done. Because why? Because now I don't have to do all of that. I either have strings or runes, and runes are either a single string value or a string. And that's what I wanted originally, and so I'm kind of glad we're doing this. So yeah, there's no need to change that. It's more explicit anyway. And I should have done that. I should have done it all along. So moving the goalpost. Sometimes it makes sense, right? It's like, I don't want to, you know what? It's like, why am I even doing this, right? It's like, because, I mean, let's talk about that for a second. Up until now, you know, if you set this up, you would be like, okay, well, what's the CRLF? And if you didn't have CRLF available to you to look up, you'd be fucked. But now you can say, oh, it's an XD and an XA combined. So all I really had to do was add the ability to use, you know, two runes next to each other. And if I have more than that, then the way this gets bad is when you have to split up a string, because you cannot use backslash escapes in runes, and that's a real thing. That's the thing I'm not going to budge on. I hate backslash escapes in specs. They really mess you up, and plus they don't always translate into PDF and stuff like that. So that's why I had that there. I thought that was the only way to do it. I mean, let's say, for example, you wanted to have like something here like that, right? You could still do something like that, and then do XA or whatever, and then it would do the right thing. And that's really all we needed. I needed to do variable values, and I supported that, but I did not need to make token ID supported. So yeah, and this is why I need to write the generator entirely before I sign off on the final version of the 1.0 on the spec, because stuff like that is going to creep in, little things like that. And they should, and other people will be developing their own specs as well. The cool thing about that is this is now going to make my current grammar invalid. And so, yeah, in fact, I'm probably going to add that here. You got to shake it to see how it works. It's really true. It is totally true. So compound tokens are no longer a thing. The code I had before was completely working. So now the question is, can I just put this all back? And I think the answer to that is yes. And I can do the ampersand for this. And we're going to come back and paste some code in here. In fact, we're going to paste all of this code in here. And we're going to get to this one. How do I import and use P1 and P2? I'm using submodules for that, Greg. Yeah, I did this. I did get, I learned about, get add module, I think it was. Adding a submodule to Git repo. I've only done it like once. So, but this is the SCM book. This is the actual book on this. Yeah, this is the one I was reading the other day. So yeah, this is let me send you the link to this. Get some module add. Yep, that's the one. Here's the ref though for it if you want it. So there you go. There's the submodule. That's the one I read about the other day, and I've been following it. I noticed that when you do that, it actually creates a submodule entry for you. It's really nice. So I highly recommend that. What are we doing? Deleting to 76 or so. Delete 76. All right, so we're gonna store this here, and we should get everything we want now. And actually, I don't need to mess with that. My tokens are golden. The token generator is golden. I just got to tweak the test case instead of doing the print in the source code. Yeah, Scott. Yeah, I meant a Golang import. Oh, are you working on the two projects at the same time? You want to replace? So yeah. Everybody else who wants to do here, let me show you. Yeah, this took me like almost a full day to research. I was so pissed it took me so long to research this. This is the times when I really, you guys think that I'm like just a Go fanboy. There's been a few times I've really bagged on Go too. And this is one of those times. All right. So, you have to use a replace. I don't think this project uses one. So let me find one that does. So why do this? If you have a lot of projects that you're working on at the same time, so say you're concurrently working on two packages, which is not an uncommon scenario, you need to know about the replace directive in your Go mod. Do you not check in GoMod? Yes, I do. And it's funny you say that because you hit on the number one issue on this, and this is my biggest railing. There's like a huge issue on Go right now because of this, because the Go mod gets saved with the project. Well, what happens when somebody using your project checks it out and you forgot to get rid of replace? I sense you already know that. Yeah. Yeah, it does suck ass. You should see the people going off on the issue on this. This is probably one of my biggest complaints about the architects of Go mod totally had their heads up their ass. Look, I'm just going to say it. They tried really hard to do the best they could, and they ended up delivering something that is very inferior to what we already had. And they'll complain all the time that it forced you to have everything in your Go path, and I've explained that got us around that. But in order to get around that, in order to get around having to have everything in your Go path, which was totally acceptable for me at the time. And by the way, that's easier for beginners to understand too. Just put all your stuff in one place. It's very Rob Pike thinking, if you ask me. And somebody got a hold of that decision, and the Go mod path just went down the abyss. And they tried to do all these things and make it safer and use mod caching and all this stuff. And I get it. Those are great things. But then they didn't take care of this one edge case that everybody uses. It's not an edge case at all. It's not even documented, for God's sake. It took me like a full day to figure out how to do this. I was like, I can't concurrently work on two things. Another thing you couldn't do? Couldn't work on private repos. I'm sorry, some coding guy. This is the biggest complaint I have about the Go language. And you probably heard me, like, when I rip on people, I don't actually mean I'm ripping on you, right? Okay, if you are a maintainer, if somebody watches this, and please understand that I need to get better at not talking like that in hyperbole like that. But it did really annoy me. It really, really annoyed me. And mostly because I'm working with beginners, and to this day, even Kennedy was having a hard time getting his head around it. He's like, okay, so tell me that again on Twitter. He was like posting Twitter. He's like, can somebody explain Go modules to me again? And to this day, I haven't seen any explanation of how to use replace, except for, some Russian named dude who's like throwing his hands in the air on Stack Exchange someplace saying, hey, this is what you need to do. I just needed to know. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. So now you know. This is not the reason this is such a fail is because, first of all, it's only part of the problem, right? It just addresses where the thing is. It doesn't address whether you're pulling it down from the caching server or a private, curious when I Sire stream. Oh, right. Nice. So here's the problem here, right? So this thing, gets saved with your project. And what happens when the person down the street, goes, oh, he's awesome too. Les Miles is great. The person down the street pulls down this thing, you know what I'm saying? And now they're busted because they don't have the same private repos. Since this has no business in Go mod. This has no business, and I didn't swear. Pat me myself on the back. This has no business being in Go mod. None. This should have been in a separate file, and that's where the issue is going with this. The issue is like, that is a thing that needs to be put into git ignore that should never, ever, ever see the light of a production repo. And yeah, exactly. And the people who ran into this are coming unglued, and the GoMod team's like, huh. I'm like, okay, this is not Pike and Thompson. That was the first, by the way, I've ranted on this before. The first, I know, but they didn't think about it, right? So exactly. So this was the first time. I'm going to use this as an anecdote here. This was the first time I realized that the Go project is no longer being directed by its creators. It's now being directed by, well, I'm going to say it, a bunch of lesser architects and engineers who don't have the same level of experience. And I apologize openly. It's going to stop me from ever getting accepted to a Go conference. I don't care. They're making decisions based on less than all of the information. And not only that, they're accelerating their adoption of new things. And generics is one of those things. And And, you know, I don't even think Pike and Thompson and, well, Gressler's off the project. He's not even on the project anymore. And it happened to Python PostgreSQL. I'm saying. So when I see this happening to Go, I start to get really panicked. Because the whole reason for picking Go is it's a nice, stable, long-term language. It's not going to have, you know, stupid shit sneak in over time. Or, God forbid, at 2.0. You know? And so when I see this happening, it like really throws up all kinds of alarm bells for Go for me. And I'm like, okay, well, we know Rust is going to change all the time and has really weird, you know, decision-making process and anything. And all of a sudden, you know, now Go is behaving like Rust. And making really dumbass decision about how they did Go mod. And you know, and so, you know, I have the same arguments with Rust. Rust is just a time bomb waiting to happen. It's like constantly moving direction and based on some whim here and some political ideology over there. It has no sense of direction at all. And it terrifies me. There's no way anybody who wants to invest a lot of money into a language would ever pick it up. And that's really Go's claim to fame, is that they're making a very stable sort of Java-esque sort of thing, even though Java's, you know, God forbid you pick that because you didn't think it was going to change. You know, and so this was the only time I went down this rant against Go is because this is the first time, this is the first time that I really, really questioned Go's direction. And the second time that I questioned it, so much so that my Rust rant video, which you guys have heard me talk about, right? It's like over 22K now, I think, on hits. That Rust video, I made that Rust video because I was so afraid of where generics were going with the language and that the language direction was just off the rails for Go. And I'm like, okay, if we're going to be using an off the rails language, we should at least consider Rust. You know, I should at least consider it. And that's what prompted me to reconsider Rust, is the whole generics. When they were going to actually put generics with parentheses in the language, and I saw their, oh, right. But when I saw the stuff that they put out, when I saw what the generics were actually going to look like and how they were going to use parentheses, and it was just parentheses fucking hell, worse than Clojure. And I was like, this is where this team is taking this language? It's like, has Pike even seen this? You know, and I'm like, I think Pike in the game, I know, it was like, and then they backtrack off of that. They didn't want to use angle brackets because it's already used in other places. And it is actually an actual conflict. It wasn't just compiler efficiency. It was actually a real reason. And somebody showed me it had something to do with if statements. And yeah. And so, right. And then, I get definitely in parentheses from Lisp. So then they went to angle brackets. I'm like, okay, I can get behind that. And then I watched Kennedy's whole presentation in person. Actually, he came here and presented virtually, and I was like, okay, I can get behind some of these use cases for generics, but most of them are just going to complicate the language and make it harder to write consistently secure, good software. And I'm like, why did we need this complication? What is it getting us? And like, well, okay, well, it saves you this type switch here and this here. I'm like, yeah, but there's only a few cases that are really, and even those are not compelling enough to not do it, if you ask me. So that now the reason I'm telling you this whole kind of sad story and rant is because I'm seriously worried about Go as well. I think Go is being, Go's biggest claim to fame was absolute drop dead simplicity. You know what's going on, drop dead easy concurrency, a simple syntax that's easy to master in like a day, and rock solid stability that's not going to change on a whim every year like Rust or Node. You know, and those core tenets of the language are now not solid to me. I think that the people who are directing the Go team right now are floundering. They're floundering. And this is a perfect example of this. As Greg said, Greg's kind of pissed off. He's like, that was a suck-ass solution. Those are his words. It's like, that's not a good solution. That's not a solution at all. I'm like, yeah, how the fuck did that make it into a formal release of the language that can now never be taken back? And I agree. There's no way they can ever get rid of it. And so you're going to find this all the time. You're going to find this, and you see me doing this, and it was the only solution to it. And I was like, it was sad. It made me very sad. It made me sad for the Go language, because I tell you what, you know, that was before they got attacked by, mostly precipitated by the whole fucking stupid Discord blog that's totally clueless, and then it goes starting to take attack from the Rust people, and they're like, hey, see, Rust is not bad at all. And like, no, you don't. It's still bad. It's still got a lot of problems, even though it's got a lot of positive things too. But anyway, so that's yeah. What the hell is get metadata doing in a Go programming language? Exactly, Mac. And Mac, I'm totally with you on this. You can slam it for reverse notation and all that, and I'll defend it. But on this point, I agree. This sucks. Whoever had the idea to do this threw it in at the last minute, like, oh yeah, what about our developers who are developing on multiple packages at the same time, which is pretty much all of our 10x developers. Oh fuck, we forgot about them because we have time to be on the Go development team because we don't actually write Go code. Sorry, I'm being a little mean there. I mean, that was a little bit mean, but my hypothesis is that the people who have time to participate in Go direction like this are not writing enterprise Go code very frequently anymore. And so they're making decisions based on less than all the facts, and they're turning shit around faster because they're getting heat from Rust and all this other stuff when they should be just sitting back and being patient and making sound decisions that are going to affect the language forever. And they're not. They're not. They're making fast, shoot from the hip decisions that are going to kill the language if they don't stop. This is the only solution to this problem. The only solution. And until that ticket comes up, I don't know. I don't even think it has come up. I don't even know if it's going to get approved. P packages are tied to back. You should see what people are doing. There are people who are doing all kinds of things to get around this, actually going into their code. They're doing things where they have like make files and stuff. And at that point, you know, you might as well write C. It's like, you know, I know it's kind of not completely a sequitur there, but it does kind of follow, right? That as soon as you're like, okay, well, yeah, if you're building on this machine, you're going to do this. It's just, yeah, write a script or something. Or, you know, write, you know, Babel or whatever the fuck that they're doing these days on the Node project, you know, this massive. Yeah. And so anyway, that's your answer. That was Greg's answer. Greg asked the question, in case anybody was wondering where this rant came from. Greg asked the question, how do I use the code from another package that I'm developing on locally without committing it yet? And this is how you do it. There's a number of reasons for using this. Another thing this does is it gets around privately held repos without changing any of your environment variables in Go that would stop you from you can set an environment variable and Go, I forget the one that will allow you to pull down private repos. Otherwise, Go will yell at you and say you can't use a private repo. Simple and stable, trustworthy comes to mind. Well, you know, I don't know. We're going to find out. There's a lot of things you can't do in C that you can do in Go. So, C to a Python developer. Nice. I'm actually looking forward to doing that. I'm looking forward to getting myself deeply immersed. I've been reading Mastering Algorithms in C, and I love it. The first chapter is on pointers, by the way, and I like how C and Go have similarities, and Mac will yell at me for saying that, but you can tell that the one Pike in his interview about this, I literally said it was time for us to have a modern compiled language. 4K, but not so good on need a full HD monitor to PM me. Want to test with me a 4K stream to tell me if it looks okay. Yeah, that would not be me. Pointers are super unsafe in C. People love to say that, and I think it's true too. But you know, it's mostly people are unsafe, not the pointers, right? People use pointers incorrectly because they don't understand them, and the saying is, well, the language shouldn't let you do that. And you know what else is unsafe if you don't know how to use it? The RM command, you know, or the command line in general, or Linux in general. You know, or automobiles. Let's put that one out there. They're all unsafe if they're used incorrectly and you don't know how to use them. The problem is that we let people use these things all the time who have no ability to use them because of the scarcity. So they end up making horrible mistakes, and that's why we have airbags, right? We wouldn't have airbags if everybody knew how to drive. I mean, so I don't know. There's arguments both ways, right? There's the Rust argument, like everybody should have airbags and guide rails, and you know, we should put you know, I don't know, foam on the end of everybody's fork so they don't poke an eye out. That's Rust for you. You know, or there's like, hey, look at this, man. If you shoot this wrong and load your round wrong, you're going to blow your face off. Came shortly, a Valgrind came. I was gonna say I don't know those tools. I really want to. I didn't get. I was mostly recovering from somebody else's. I was spending all my time as symbolic debugger finding errors and third level support for IBM on their products. And I got really really intimately familiar with all the syscalls. It's been a while, but because I had to read through core dumps and stuff. So I always got to see it at the end of a disaster. instead of not making it. Actually just had her write an allocator that met the spec. Oh, cool. Man, I would love to, if you have any online material, I'd love to. I think more people should learn to do C properly before they reach for Rust. And I do think they should learn Rust. I really do, because that'll help you think properly about how to code. Yeah, so that'd be really cool. Yeah, I'm gonna actually drop today. I told you I guys gotta have a lot of cleaning to do. I'm gonna make it into my exercise for the day. It's like so much stuff that we have to do. And then, but this has been fun. I was able to fix my stuff up to the point where I want it to be, and I did change the specs, so I'm gonna have to change something there. So I got to make sure. No, I don't. Actually, one last thing before I go, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to open a bug on my own spec so I don't forget, because otherwise I'll definitely forget. All right, so I don't know if I even saved that. Did I save it? Let's try. Let me go check. Git status. Oh yeah, no. Okay, so yeah, the ASTs are going to be broken on this. I'm just gonna leave this on the screen so I remember to go do it during the end of the day today. Wow, that's cool. It should work. Wow, it's a great site. Great site. Great site. Very, very great site. Wow, this is fantastic. Fantastic. I saw the X. Fantastic. I'm great. Thank you for stopping by. I mean, I'm all about promoting other people that are helping people learn. That's what I do. Look at that. We got YouTube videos, Twitch videos. Hey, everybody, go check some guy out. See what he's got going on here, particularly if he's got C going on. Yeah, fun stuff. Thank you for stopping by. Last Smiles approved. Oh, God. Yeah, that's a big deal. Yeah. People don't understand how big a deal that is. Yeah. All right, people. It's been really fun. Thank you for all the fighting. Mac, no hard feelings. Greg, no hard feelings. All y'all. I think this is you might have been drunk. We will see you very soon. Probably not tonight. Maybe, but probably not. And yeah. What else can I talk about to keep myself from having to go do the cleaning? All right, guys.